So as promised, we bring you our pre-UFC 194 recording.
Aldo
The
McGregor.
podcast that never was, now will be, because we found it. Enjoy.
And it really poses the question, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a chance and risk getting knocked out?
Hello, everybody. I'm joined here today by the Real Drama.
The Real Drama, a.k.a. Forehead God, a.k.a. Colt 45 Poppy,
2 zigzags.
9-inch Nicky,
I was
things of that nature.
What about 9-inch Nicky? You forgot that one.
9-inch Nicky, things of that
Well,
nature.
I didn't prepare an intro like that, but Odian, Hugo,
Odian.
what's up?
MK over there. We're still figuring out our podcast identity names.
It's all right, I'm on the producer side of this thing.
Yeah, me too.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, Dre.
Yeah, Dre in the building. Yo.
What am I? I'm a whack producer, right?
Yeah.
Who's whack?
Scott Storch.
No, he's dope.
Yeah, he's white.
He's weird, but
he's
good,
weird.
Good
He
song.
lost his money, though.
It's like one NWA film comes out, and now all these white guys, and they're all
I'm Jerry Heller, the whack.
everyone's all educated now on the local hip hop scene here.
Yeah.
All right. So we're here to talk today about fighting, like in terms of championship fighting, UFC, boxing. I'm sure is going to come up. We all have kind of different looks. My boy O'Drama here, I consider you pretty knowledgeable in the subject. I must say that when we first started watching fights years back, and you'd kind of just like say what the announcers were saying, and I think like I was skeptical. I'm like, fuck, does this guy know what he's talking about, or is he just fucking claiming? Because we've grown up with people that love to lie. So
He's making that up, isn't he?
I was just like, does he really know? But fuck, man. And I think the final nail in the coffin for that was the Holly Holm fight, where you predicted it T for T.
I called it. I'm the young prophet.
Yeah, the young prophet. You could look back a week before the fight, his tweets, and he says everything. You list out. What did you say? The head kick will present itself. That was the last one.
Said she's going to use her range, of course, which a lot of people expected. She's going to use some of those low oblique kicks that Jon Jones loves to use. With Mike Winkeljohn coaching her since she was like 15 years old, they're going to come up with the perfect game plan, and that's what they did. They just...
See, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, me
that's
neither.
why. Yeah, that's why.
Interesting.
So let me preface this by the three of us here. Everybody in this podcast right now, except O'Drama, I think we're nowhere near experts on this subject.
Yeah, definitely.
So I personally will be saying a lot of stuff that may or may not be accurate. So don't hold me to it. But I mean, I think it makes sense because I want to know more, and I want to ask, and I have opinions. I could be wrong, I could be right. I want to know.
Be right a lot of times too.
I want to know if I'm right or wrong. So it's an interesting conversation to be had.
I'm excited.
Holly Holm. Let me tell you what I thought when I saw that, because this is the kind of fan I am. I love the big fights, right? UFC. But I'm like that with any sports. So FIFA World Cup. I won't watch soccer unless it's, I won't watch basketball unless it's, fourth quarter of like
3 minutes
game.
left.
Yeah, because they last forever, right?
Exactly.
And it's because I think it's that human element of that we could all kind of understand, right? Like, when you're watching something and like a majority of the world is watching it, it's a different feeling. You know what I mean? And to me, especially when fighting is the most personal it could get, right? Because you lose in fighting. Oh man, I would never want to experience that. Yeah, it's just it's not I'll win next. Like what I mean. It's not the same as a championship.
Oh, the next year,
like game. It's just like you fucking.
Yeah, it's like okay.
That's highlight reel.
Yeah, like we lost on Tuesday. We got another game on Thursday.
Yeah,
we'll
play them again next week.
Yeah.
No. I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he says, Rashad Evans, that picture where he's knocked out. First time he got knocked out.
Machida.
Yeah, and apparently someone, like this guy, like asked for his autograph and handed him a picture, and it was him knocked out.
Oh
like,
no!
Yo, can you sign this? And he was just like standing in front of him, like
the guy just stood there with a shit-eating grin, just like passed him the photo, like.
What did Rashad do?
He just crumpled it. I was like, the fuck, man? Like,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, like tight.
He should have roughed him up.
I think so.
You can't, but
he would have got sued so fast.
Yeah, so fast. Maybe he was looking for that.
Probably.
It sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
But yeah, Holly Holm. So I'm the type of fan that like, a big fight's coming up. I do my research like, the week of. So Holly Holm was fighting Ronda. Exactly. So I started looking. I've never heard of Holly Holm. And that says nothing about what she's accomplished. That just shows how much I know, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this girl had like almost 50 fights, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And the thing about Ronda is she was like, you know, huge celebrity, just killing it. And like
First
everybody's
female
on it.
champion, right?
Yeah, everyone undefeated.
Lots
and
of
I
hype.
was always like, because I don't know, right? Like people may still,
Hey, I fell for it.
Well, yeah, but people may still say that all her opponents were, you know,
I think so.
worthy challengers. But how do you know
I really
that?
don't think she fought some of the best ones.
I think so too. Yeah.
You think there are better out there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's proven.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, but that much, like you,
She skipped over a couple people. Like,
is that what you're saying? That there's a
Yeah.
bunch of people she should have fought but didn't.
yeah, I think Miesha Tate, who Ronda's beat twice, I think Miesha Tate had a tougher road and fought a lot tougher competition than Ronda actually did.
Oh, right.
But
They
she
wanted
did-
to build up Ronda and make Ronda that star because Ronda is a star. Ronda's got the look, she's got the personality. Like everyone was just
Yeah, it's
drawn
funny
to
how
her.
UFC has to do that. Like
It's weird
the
though because
Sage
you
Northcutt
know when Kat Zingano, she beat Miesha Tate and everyone
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is going to be the tough fight against Ronda Rousey. And
Yeah, but she
Ronda
fucked
just
up.
destroyed her as well. Like I don't
Yeah,
even know
she
what
fucked
happened.
up. She rushed in and
Yeah.
like, made a
with
crucial
Holly
error.
Holm?
No, with,
No, with,
Kat
Ronda.
Zingano.
Yeah, she rushed in, made a mistake, and got finished in 14 seconds. So it's
Well,
like,
that's kind of what Ronda did though. Rushed in and was
Yeah.
getting punched in the face.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, so she's not leaving her coach. I read
no, she's not, but she should.
she should. The guy was saying you're doing a good job when she was.
Yeah,
not
you just
doing a
got
good job.
washed in the first round, and all of a sudden, great job. Like what?
Yeah.
I think Holly
Like nigga,
Holm's
what fight
awesome.
did you watch? Like I'm getting rocked out here.
Yeah, I
She got-
think.
I like her.
Oh, you were telling me, Odian, that Ronda was just being super whack.
Oh, she didn't even
Like-
touch gloves.
Well,
She was
yeah,
saying
yeah,
she
I
could
read
beat
about that.
everybody
She
in
says-
the UFC with one hand. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
that's
man.
whack.
You know?
Just one hand. Come on.
Or yeah,
She said that.
she did. She
Yeah,
did
she
say
said
that.
she could beat everyone in the
in
division.
her division with one hand.
Yeah.
And what do you think of that, Odrama?
I think it's nonsense, but I think you got to believe your own hype too. You can't just go in there and be like, yeah, I might get my ass kicked this fight.
Yeah.
No,
You
like, you
gotta
gotta
believe.
know that you can't be stupid, right? Like,
Well, yeah, of course, but she has that persona, and she's the heel. It's just like in wrestling. You need a heel and you need a face.
yeah.
So
The
she's
heel-
so ticket. She's
yeah.
kind of like the Mayweather, where people tuned in to watch Mayweather lose. So she could talk all that shit, but people gonna tune in to maybe see
You
her
think
lose.
Ronda
Yeah.
was a Mayweather? Like, she
Oh yeah,
was, I
because she's
thought-
so polarizing.
So it was like a Silva, you know.
not as
well,
much.
and here's the thing that I wanted to say. Like Silva, when I started getting into fighting,
yeah,
UFC in particular, Silva was on top. I didn't like Silva.
the god.
I didn't, and you were a huge fan.
The God.
And I see that with Jones. I saw him from. Okay, so actually, let me tell you exactly how I got into fighting. We're sitting at a bar. I think you were there, and I'm watching this fight with Shogun versus
Jon Jones.
No, versus
Machida. I was there too.
And Shogun wins but doesn't win. Like
Yeah.
he
I
wins.
remember that. I was standing up on the chair and shit.
Yeah.
That was at press box.
Yeah, it was.
And Machida had
Yeah.
never lost. Shogun
Yeah.
had some losses, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that to me, I was like, wow, this is like amazing. Like this guy's undefeated and just got worked, and then didn't like the judges didn't give it to him. I was like, and then Machida after was like, well, the judges like said I won, so I won. Like he could have been like
Pretty weak, yeah.
There's people who win and they're just like that was like fucking Andre Arlovsky, right? He won the fight, but he's not happy with that win
Yeah.
against Frank Mir, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so that happens, and I was like, fuck, man, like this guy Shogun got robbed, and they're like rematch. I'm like, dope. Like I wanted to see him do what he did again, but win it, right?
Yeah.
And he fights him and
knocks him out.
KOs
Knocked
someone
him
who's
the fuck
never
out.
been who is undefeated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, Shogun, the man, right?
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know much. And that's like the human story. Like that could be in like a movie or a TV show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
That-
Yeah.
That's what was interesting to me, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm watching Shogun months later, whatever it was, and he fights Jon Jones
Oh man.
and gets worked.
Shogun looked drunk as fuck in that fight.
Shogun
Yeah. He looked
looked
out of shape.
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you see that fight?
Yeah.
MK? Yeah. Dude, and I was like, wow. I'm
Destroyed.
Like, and then I'm just like, and you could call that bandwagoning. I was impressed, man. Like, I was like, Jon Jones is so sick.
Yeah.
And Odrama, to your credit again, you told me, or
I was there
mentioned-
with you.
This guy said Jon Jones is going to be the man since his debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you knew it.
I saw his skill set. I was like, yo, this kid's like something. This kid's got it.
Yeah.
I just kept seeing him fight. I'm like, holy shit. He just keeps getting better and better and better. I'm like, yo, this kid's going to be the champ. Like, watch. This kid's going to, like, take it. And sure
And
enough.
I'm not trying to hype you up for whoever's listening. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I used to think, maybe he's just kind of,
Yeah.
full
yeah,
of
because,
shit
there's
little.
other people like, oh, I was with him since day one.
Yeah. Like, you hear that a
Really,
lot,
nigga?
right? And you
Yeah.
fucking, you fucking call these things, man. So I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw him when he
Good
fought
work.
Stephen Bonner. That was when I was like, this guy's gonna
Who,
be
Jon
champion.
Jones?
Yeah, and he was only 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And
champ.
this guy was a vet already, and he just destroyed him, suplexed him, spinning back.
Spinning back elbow.
Oh, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the 10
Stuff
the
that
10
I'd never
second-
even seen before.
The 10-second thing, the clap. What's that called? That goes. You know, the 10 seconds left, and they like go.
yeah,
That's
just the
those-
final.
whatever
countdown, yeah.
final count clap thing. He would like most people just let that run out, you know.
Oh,
and he would like explode during those 10 seconds. It's
Yeah.
just so awesome to
Yeah.
watch, and
Yeah, just send you back to the corner like, oh shit. It's like,
and his disqualification. I didn't see it, but
God, I missed that guy.
bullshit. Well, he's come back.
Yeah,
He's back.
He's better come back.
yeah.
What I don't understand about Jon Jones is like the first time I remember seeing an interview with him, he was super like humbled. Talked about like
I got
he's
a
like
lot to say
yeah
about that.
before I go to a fight, I like go to this waterfall, and he was talking about how like the fight he's at like some waterfall, like
Meditating and shit.
meditating and all this shit, and then you find out he's like getting into car accidents, like taking 20
Doing
grand
blow.
out of
But
his.
he talks about
What happened to that
his
guy? Was
interviews.
it like the celebrityism that
No,
got to
no.
him,
I'll
or,
tell.
like-
He's a young
Here's the
guy
thing.
still, right?
And Nick, we used to talk about this too. Is Jon Jones used to win and have these interviews, and there's like a little documentary I watched on him, and you're still my favorite fighter, Jon Jones. Like you're awesome, but
Trying to get him on the
I-
podcast here or what?
yeah, come join us. But you know, I would watch the things he'd say, and I was like, wow, this guy's like mature, like this guy's 21-year-old or however old he was, and like he's just like saying everything perfect, like what a role model. And then and so I was like sick, like you know, I bought it, right? And then. And I'm not saying he's not a role model now because he's made mistakes. I think people hate on him a lot more than he
That
deserves.
nigga's my hero.
Yeah,
Shout out
but
to hit and runs.
but then, oh, come on. He's joking, guys. But yeah, so shout out to Hit and Run. And then it was Rampage, I think, or Rashad, one or the other, that like started this like thing about how
Calling
he's
him
fake,
fake.
right?
Yeah.
And I was
That
like,
was
how
Rashad.
is this guy fake? I think it started with Rampage. Like everyone knows, and then I started having friends saying, "Yo, like I don't know about him. He's fake." And I just thought it was all stupid, white noise gossip.
Yeah.
And but now, like he did this interview, and yeah, he was fucking party. He's like a maniac. Like he loves partying and this and that. And he says in this interview, he's like, "I was fake." He's like, "I just grew up watching." Jordan and Tiger Woods before his controversy.
Yeah, he thought that's how you're supposed to act.
Yeah, so he's just
As a champion, so,
yeah.
like,
a lot of times he talks, I just think he's just kind of young and like I know we're like the same age, but he just seems like he's just kind of dumb, like naive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not calling you dumb, but he seems naive sometimes. You know what I
That's
mean?
the thing, I get it. Like I could relate to someone like that. As someone that's been in a few car accidents and dabbled in a few things, that person that seems more real to me than any other fighter. Like I could relate
that's
to
what
that
it is,
young,
right? Yeah,
wild,
yeah.
brash, like cocky dude. Like I'm a dumbass. I don't have shit going for me. He's like champion of the world, the baddest motherfucker on earth, beating everybody. You're gonna be a little crazy. In order to be a champion of that magnitude, you have to be a little off. You can't just be some like cold, stoic, boring person. In the sport of all alpha males, you got to be a savage.
Yeah.
What about a guy like Jose Aldo, though? You know, I mean, I know there's an article that just came out about him talking about Conor McGregor and how, like, champions don't talk shit like Conor McGregor, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
What about Jose Aldo with a guy like who, I mean, you have to admit, Jose Aldo's dominated his weight class for a long time.
Dominated.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
It's
he
the only
has to-
featherweight champion ever.
Yeah.
And
So-
he hasn't lost the belt.
But we
So
don't
what do
really
you-
know who Jose is because he's like, first of all, there's that bridge of the whole language thing. We don't really know who he is. I think that's
No.
why so many people are just thinking about Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor's out there talking brash, just like everywhere.
He's exciting,
in his
man.
face.
Like the people that try to deny,
Yeah, but,
that
like-
excitement matters.
And that's the thing, but Jose is just like, we don't know who you are. Same thing with like Demetrius Johnson, why I find him boring. Like, I don't know who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I like a fighter that could go out there and put in work, finish people, and has that personality to completely sell me. Like, I want that complete package from my fighters.
Yeah, of course. And as a fan, and I think, people could hate, like real fans are the ones who appreciate the technical this and that, and I understand that, but you're not I make films, you make films, MK, and I don't get mad when someone doesn't like an artistic movie or something that was had a good artistic element. Like it's like no, like movies are entertainment. Human beings like what's entertaining.
Yeah, sometimes I want to see titties and gunshots. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see
But-
like flowers in slow motion.
But you could combine the two, right? You could have a very good
Nothing
artistic
says art like
piece.
flowers in slow motion.
You know what I mean? So I think it's just like you can't underestimate how important entertainment
That's the thing.
is,
Like
right?
someone like Anderson Silva, who was completely technical, but he would still go out there and finish people.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting
Yeah.
about the UFC to me, because it's not boxing, right? It's not, you don't have to be Floyd Mayweather and sell yourself, because you're not working for yourself. You are working for a greater organization like the UFC. It's like, as much as Kobe Bryant or LeBron James can market themselves, at the end of the day, they're still marketed by the NBA, and it's
Yeah.
and they have
That's
that
a good point.
they have that
Governing
organization
body.
behind them, right? Whereas
Word.
boxers like Floyd Mayweather, like that's also why he gets to make $300 million on a fight, because
That's why he's
keeps
allowed
his
to
own
fight,
purse.
period. The shit he does.
But that's the thing, like, look at
outside the
Floyd.
ring,
Yeah.
they wouldn't
Yeah.
let him fight.
But when Floyd first started, no one gave a fuck. When he was
No.
just like
Yeah.
Pretty Boy Floyd, no one cared. He had to switch up and get that persona of Money Mayweather and start being an asshole. That's when people started to care and really watch his fights.
You think
Yeah.
that's a persona though? Because like McGregor, I think that's a persona. I think there's a
There's a
if
good
you watch a
person.
documentary, he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
That's just
I
just
saw him on
talks a lot
Kimmel
of
and he
funny
was
shit.
nervous.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
nervous.
really?
He couldn't
Yeah.
even speak. He was like stuttering and stuff. I was like,
Yeah, I
man,
picked
this
up
guy's,
on that, too.
He didn't,
Like,
he didn't,
I
he
think
didn't seem
Mayweather
natural, you
thinks
know?
he's- And I was telling Odion this the other day. My issue with Mayweather is why can't
Can't he
talk
just
all your
finish?
shit? No. I'm not even saying that. I'm not even going there yet. Like, okay, be a defensive fighter. Don't get hit. Be a counter striker, whatever. But when you're talking shit up to the fight, don't act like you're gonna knock someone out. Like that's how he acts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, just be like. I think it'd be way more. I would respect, and I think a lot of people would agree if he was just like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna knock me out." No, you won't. No one has. Like, yeah, I'm going the distance. Then fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
gonna make 300 million. If like that was, I just think that would sit well better with people than someone who's trying to claim like.
But I don't think anyone really believes what Mayweather says anyway. A lot of people are watching Mayweather to see if he's going to lose. Like,
Yeah.
people are just hoping
Yeah.
like someone catches his ass.
Or
and
people just literally want him to win.
But it would just
like
make
him.
him more. Yeah, a
lot of people like
a lot to say
Mayweather.
about that
Yeah.
too. I think there's a lot of people who just wanna act like connoisseurs or think they know. They watch that Pacquiao fight. If they saw that Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao Mayweather on the street, the same people that said, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a
This
lot
isn't
of
a
people.
street
I've
fight
talked to.
though. It's a boxing
Doesn't
match.
matter.
Yeah, it's a sweet
It doesn't matter.
science.
It's a boxing
people
match, man.
that front like they know that this or that about it's a sweet science. If they saw that fight in an alleyway, they would not think.
But
Mayweather
like,
won.
if I go to an alleyway, like I hope it's gonna be exciting. I'm not gonna go there and be like, okay, like these guys just start jabbing. Like,
But do you get my point?
what is going? Yeah, I
There's
get
a
what
lot-
you're
There's
saying.
a lot of fronters that it's just safe to go all in with Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just like claim like they know boxing and whatever. Whereas I believe it. I believe that it is a sweet science and he knows what he's doing.
I think he knows what he's doing.
What about this argument?
$300 million. I should fucking
Yeah.
hope that he knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's
I
doing.
know.
What about
Markets
what about
himself.
the argument where if one rule was changed in boxing, he couldn't win fights?
Possible.
What about that argument? If
Of like,
you
oh,
change the rule in boxing,
You have to be an aggressor,
you
consistently.
you can't like you know how some fight organizations if it goes to the ground and they're not doing shit they stand
Stand
back
them
up.
up.
No, but
You know what I
to
mean?
me that's
Yeah.
bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Because like they talk about even like you look at a guy like Steph Curry right now, right?
Yeah.
Who's dropping whatever 40 points a game or whatever
Yeah,
the hell that guy's dropping,
ridiculous.
right? And a lot of guys are comparing him to these, are they going to be able to get 73 wins and this whole kind of Michael Jordan kind
Yeah.
of thing, right?
Yeah.
You look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan traditionally was like a terrible 3-point shooter, right?
Oh, really?
And for 2 years of his career, they moved the 3-point line like a couple feet in.
Really?
So they actually moved the 3-point line forward, and
Yeah.
that's when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen started hitting a bunch of threes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then they moved it back, and then Michael Jordan all of a sudden couldn't hit 3-pointers anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that you can customize rules to try to like help your stars or
But-
try to hinder them or try to
Yeah,
give
or
more
try-
competition,
Okay, okay.
right? Like that to me that defeats the whole
point is fair,
that's
but
true.
the thing about fighting is, the best soccer player in the world is the most skilled human being with,
A soccer ball.
well, I don't want to say because there's some people who are good at like tricks and shit. But what I'm trying to say is when it comes to fighting, like you watch fighting to see who is the best fighter,
Yeah.
not who's
Conditioned,
the best boxer.
stronger.
But the
You know what I
point of
mean?
boxing
That's how it started.
is-
That's how it
Yeah.
started.
The point of boxing is to hit and not get hit.
Yeah, not get hit. Exactly.
You think it started with that intent though? That like
Well,
I'm-
at the end of the day,
that's-
it's still
that's-
fighting. But
yeah.
you don't want to get hit. No one wants to get hit. You want to be fucking punch drunk and like you
sure,
can't wipe your
but
ass.
I
in
think
That's
40
the
I
years
growth
think
of
old.
boxing
boxing,
has
right?
evolved to
Yeah.
that.
That's what
you know what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
But exactly, the growth of boxing, it's evolved to that. Nobody started boxing saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, counterpunch."
But that's how
Like,
all
you have to learn-
sports grow.
yeah.
Right? That's how
But
all
that's the
sports grow.
sport. Yeah.
Because
But
you look at before they even had the 3-point line in basketball, right? You didn't get a lot of 3-point shooters, right? Now the mid-range jumper is completely out of the game because it's not statistically worth it, right? And so like all of a sudden you get a guy like Steph Curry that can hit 40% from the 3-point line. Do you all of a sudden say, oh, let's push the 3-point line 2 feet back now because some guy has manipulated the rules or has, gotten themselves because the game has grown to the point where you're going to, you look at kids here, right? Like, you go to a high school, you go to any kind of game. How many kids are just jacking up threes?
Yeah.
Right? It's like ridiculous. It's like, that's all anyone wants to do. It's like, yeah, I'm a better shooter. It's like, yeah, but you can't drive for shit and you can't create your own shot.
Yeah.
Because all you do is sit here and, jack up half court shots, right? But that's kind of where the sport's evolved to. But that's how any sport moves, right? It's like you're not going to take that away from a player because they have maximized on that potential.
Okay, but you gotta. So what I'm trying to say is you gotta make that distinction of boxing or fight, any sport, combat sport, right? Has a special area where you fantasize about the champions fighting in the real world. You know what I mean? You don't do that with basketball players.
Sure, you think
because
about
it's all
Kobe
games.
Bryant and LeBron James one-on-one all the time.
No, I know, but I'm not saying.
Jordan,
but
Kobe.
that's playing basketball. Like I'm saying, if when you look at your championship fighters, you want to imagine them fighting, Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? Or but not boxing, not rules. Like they were in a bar or an alleyway and they're fighting. Who's gonna win? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm not confident that Mayweather. If you put Mayweather, what's that movie, Ong Bak, where they're fighting and like
Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa.
No, but I'm not saying Tony Jaa, but I'm just saying if you put him in a place
where they're like fighting.
like a
underground,
savage
whatever.
crowd around you where they shove you back in the ring if you
But
bitch
that's
out.
a street fight though.
But that's what I'm
Totally
saying.
It's not a boxing
That's what I'm
match.
saying. The fact that we have the best boxer in the world, quote unquote, and I don't think any one of us here are confident to say he could hold his own in that situation. That's kind of whack, in my opinion.
But that's why I find MMA so much more interesting than
Exactly.
boxing.
Yeah, of course.
Because
Exactly.
it's more real life. Like, you're going to get, catch knees to the mouth and shit like that in a real street fight.
yeah.
It's like one of my buddies. He trains in like a Filipino martial art, and it's literally street fighting. So all your moves are like the cheap
kicking the
shit,
nuts and
the
stuff
cheap
like
shit.
that?
Yeah, like eye gouges. You practice fighting. Like literally, they have styles where you fight
Oh, they don't-
3-on-1,
okay, right.
2-on-1,
So it's just training for
knife
that.
fighting.
It's like Krav Maga, I've heard.
Yeah, but it's a
Kali?
martial art based around that. But that's because there are no rules, right? You have to be able to set rules. It's like you watch UFC 1 and you can like hold guys' hair and pull their ponytail back and rail off on their
hit him
face,
in the
right?
balls and
Yeah, you
stuff,
can hit him in the balls and
Headbutts.
shit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That could never be mainstream. Like, if you're able to do that. Like,
No, it can't. But you could confidently say Jon
Savage.
Jones might be able to be the best fighter out of any cage.
I don't know,
or
man,
octagon
because
or
I don't
ring.
think so. Because you look at Jon Jones, it's like, okay, I'm gonna pull guard on someone. It's like, yeah, well, I'm sticking my thumbs in your eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do something now. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Like,
So,
totally different.
you're saying some guy who's gonna fucking put his fingers in his eyes?
if I
could
I
beat
would
him? Like, I'm not confident to say that. Like he's still a sick fighter. Like he's still gonna see those fingers coming at his
Well,
face.
Jon Jones likes to poke people in the eyes quite a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You think he does it on purpose?
No,
Yeah,
I
if you
think-
give, I agree with you. I mean, if you give him the chance to like do whatever he wants, he's not going to still start pulling guard. He's going to start eye gouging himself as well, and he's already a skilled fighter, Jon Jones.
Yeah.
So you can already, he's going to.
But everything's based around those rules, right? Like I was just shooting a film over the weekend, and I was playing a wrestler, right? So they had these Olympic wrestler guys coming in, coaching us and showing us some shit, right?
Yeah.
And I had this guy who was like probably 5-6 inches shorter than me, just like kicking my ass, right? But the first thing I do when he takes me down to the ground, because we're just like sparring around kind of thing, just getting used to like wrestling and trying to make it look decent for camera.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like the first thing I do is like flip on my back to like pull guard, because that's just what I'm watch on the UFC. And he's like, dude, a wrestler would like, that is the absolute worst thing you can do as a wrestler is ever. You always want to give them your back, right? Whereas like you look at jiu-jitsu, it's the exact opposite, right? You never want to give a guy your back. But so then that's like saying like would a wrestler. I mean, those are just the rules that you're fighting around, right? So you have to be able to draw those lines. You have to be able to frame it so that it can be presented as a sport. Otherwise, it is just a fucking street game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, and I
then
understand
the
that.
athletes
It's
that are
just-
able to take advantage of those. You can't hate on them for being able to manipulate the sport around their success. Like you can't separate those two
But
things
at
just
what
because it's fighting.
point does playing within the rules become a bastardization of the sport. No point. There's ways to be cheap in games.
Yeah,
and,
of course, and that's also, but
and-
that's part of the sport. That's also taking advantage of,
Sure,
of
but
things that the
like-
sport presented you with. Like, it's
But
like
what about a
football.
video game where like people, what was that game you always play where you just press one button and you win? Fucking Mega Man or something.
I don't remember that.
Marvel vs. Capcom. You know what I mean? So that's within the rules of the game.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing. If you're,
But no
if
one's
you have
gonna
one
respect you
opponent-
for it.
If you have one opponent that's gonna do that thing, does that every fight, it's up to you to come up with a game plan to stop that.
Yeah.
But what if you
negate that
can't?
whole
The game,
plan.
Then you
particular video
then
game.
Steph Curry hits 40 points a game.
I-
You can't do
I-
shit about it.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree that his record speaks for itself. He's the best defensive boxer ever. But I just, who gives a shit? That's my opinion. Honestly, it's like, I don't really
whatever.
care. Like,
There's been greater fighters.
he doesn't look.
He's
cool
just been
doing
another
it,
fighter
you know
who
what I mean?
didn't
Like,
lose.
Was that?
There's better fighters. There's been bigger fighters. Tyson.
But that's
whatever,
well, that's
you
the
know?
thing. Like
he's
they
just
talk about-
another elite fighter that
Yeah,
did it.
yeah,
That's all it
exactly.
is. That's all
Exactly.
everyone.
But I do think
you
if
have
they-
to give him his respect. That's all it is. We're
But
all,
I don't
that's
think
all.
I don't think it's a mystery if he doesn't get his respect. Like, have
It's
you
a
seen that guy
mystery?
train? He's a
He's a beast.
phenom. Yeah,
He's a
like I'm not
beast.
taking that away
Best
from him.
best
But I
skipping I've
just
ever
think-
seen.
I just think
Best
when
footwork. Unbelievable.
I just think when people hate on him, like I just understand. It's not a mystery as to why people don't appreciate his fighting.
But you've hated him for a long time.
Yeah, you
Which
don't like him.
brings me back to the other thing.
personal.
What I wanted to say about Anderson
Yeah,
Silva
it is personal.
is so what I've noticed with myself, and I think I could see like most of the human race doing it, is when a fighter's on top, and they rub you the wrong way. It could be anything. You instantly make him an antagonist. You know what I mean?
What
And
did
that's-
Silva do? What did he rub you the wrong way?
He was just.
His voice.
He was
too
just
good.
really good, and yeah, it was just I was a hater. Like, it's obviously a hater, but he was just too good. I didn't like his jokes. Like, I thought he was cocky. I
jokes?
didn't think it was funny. Yeah, like he was just kind of weird, and like I was just skeptical of everyone who was beating. Like, I didn't really know these people, and then
He beat some good guys.
yeah, but okay, you gotta think of it from my perspective. He beat so Forrest Griffin, he made look like an idiot, right?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I was coming in, I didn't know who Forrest Griffin
And
was.
that wasn't even his weight class. He just
No.
moved up and just embarrassed him.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
I
and
still don't
then
understand how
moved
that
back
happened.
down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how that happened, but I see that, and obviously I don't know shit. I'm thinking, well, I don't know, Forrest Griffin or whatever, right? But then he does that to like a few people that you've admitted weren't like big time.
Like, Chris Lieben for sure. Yeah.
Chris Lieben.
But that was his first fight.
That
in
was
the
his
UFC.
first
No, no,
fight.
no.
Like
Okay,
100% striking accuracy.
who are some
That's
people
ridiculous. Nate Marquardt
that aren't like good.
that aren't
That
good.
aren't good.
No,
Well,
not
it's the UFC.
aren't
There's always
good,
gonna be
but
like,
yeah.
You've had
decent people.
Damien Maya, Talis Latest.
Yeah. Who else did he fight at 205? He fought someone at 205 that was just starching.
Oh,
people.
the
James
Sandman,
Irvin.
the
Yeah.
James Irvin, when he caught his leg and smacked. Oh,
And
that
just
was
blasted
sweet,
him.
man.
Yeah.
That was
And
sweet.
before that, James Irvin was just putting people to sleep.
Yeah,
Like
the Sandman, right?
Yeah,
That's what they call
yeah.
him. And then
Okay, here's the thing. Jon Jones' record is like unreal. It's just a who's
Yeah, 'cause he
who.
was
we're
of
not
going
every
comparing Jon
championship.
Jones.
But
is
that's
the
just what I'm
best.
saying.
He's
That's
the
what I'm saying.
best.
You can't argue with that. But he's the best, but you could back it up with that record. When you say Anderson Silva's the best, and I believe that he was, but I'm saying as like for me, what I thought when I looked at him, and I look at people like
Yeah, but at the time,
At the
those
time.
were some of the-
Yushin
that-
Okami, you
that
know what
was
I
like
mean?
one of the densest
Yeah.
weight classes.
Yeah.
when he fought Yushin Okami, it's because the
Damian
main
Maia.
card for that fight fell out. He's just like, it's in Brazil. He's like, you know what? I'll take it.
What about Thales Ladies?
Talis Latest is a beast.
Is he a
Jiu-jitsu
beast?
Yeah.
Patrick Cote, James
Cote.
Irvin.
That was he like hurt his leg or something
Yeah,
on that fight.
yeah.
So that was
Point is, as a mild fan, you don't know these people, and you start questioning, is he that good? You know, it's like a Ronda Rousey.
don't forget
thing.
Chael Sonnen twice.
Chael Sonnen
Yeah.
twice, but
Yeah.
fucking
He was getting
Silva.
worked, and then he
Sonnen
ended up.
says-
But he pulled a move out of nowhere.
Well, that
You know,
thing too.
that-
I
that's
watched
it.
that fight
Greatness.
with you.
To me, that is greatness.
Yeah, that's-
I don't know. I
To
watched.
get washed for like 4.5 rounds and
Getting
then pull
smashed.
off,
Yeah.
and getting like your ass kicked, and you pull off a triangle. At the
Why
last
was he
minute.
losing so bad?
Just
First of
couldn't
all, he had
handle
a hurt rib in that fight.
Yeah.
And plus, his wrestling was never that good. His takedown defense wasn't that good. And Chael Sonnen is one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. So he just able
Sonnen
to-
says Jon Jones is the toughest fight he's ever had.
yeah, he whooped his
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
Whipped his ass. First round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, the difference between like being a technical fighter and like a street fighter, it's like they look at someone like Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
right? Mike Tyson, they said the same thing. He's like, who has Mike Tyson fought, right?
Yeah.
Who has he fought?
You say that
and
all
he
the
was,
time.
A lot of people say that.
and he
A lot
was
of
all of
people
us,
say that.
and he was this, he was a god among boxers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But the guy wasn't a technical boxer, right?
Had one
he was
punch.
just he had one punch, right? And then as soon as he goes up against a technical boxer, a guy's got a decent jab. You know, it was one of the biggest upsets in UFC
That's
history.
not what. That's not why it happened.
But to me,
though.
yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah.
But to me, I see the same thing with something like the Ronda Rousey fight, right? Like, who do you have winning that rematch? Because to me, I saw someone
I
that
think
wasn't
Holly Holm.
wasn't
9
taking
times-
advantage
I
of
think
their.
Holly Holm will take
9
that
times
one.
out of 10, Holly Holm.
You think so? Eh?
She said she'll
think she'll
retire if she loses again. I read that. But what I want to say about Mike Tyson, and maybe this is just, again, the story and the narrative behind what they say about his career.
Probably.
But he did not train for that fight. Customato
Against-
wasn't around anymore. He was partying.
What, against Buster Douglas?
Against Buster
The
Douglas?
big upset that
Buster Douglas,
you
yeah.
just mentioned.
Yeah.
He's doing drugs, partying, having sex. When he
Yeah.
was champion, he was abstinent. Never, he was just he was waking up at 5 a.m. to jog and run.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson isn't Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. Holly Holm and Ronda is more Holyfield and Ronda. We're just a better
Holyfield.
fighter.
Yeah,
Tyson?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We're just a better fighter.
Or Lennox Lewis Tyson.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
like a bum
Yeah.
upset him? Okay.
That's exactly it, right? Like
Yeah,
Tyson,
yeah.
when he fought the better guys, that's when you saw that he really wasn't that
As good as
technically
everyone.
good.
Yeah.
So are you taking away from him?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Because he's before that he was winning and knocking everybody out. He was champion at 18.
Yeah.
Like that's big.
Yeah.
Of course, he still deserves the respect.
crazy.
How many knockouts does he have? Like
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah,
John-
he's just a scary motherfucker.
But yeah, when he fought it's even like Duran, the same thing. He fought the best, and then when he fought Thomas Hearns, and then he fought Marvin Hagler, got shit kicked.
Yeah.
But he's the only guy to beat Leonard once, right? But he still lost him twice. But then when he fought the best guys, he'd always lose, right? But he's still considered one of the best, 109 knockouts, right? Crazy.
So now, do you see Mike Tyson as being a greater fighter than Floyd Mayweather?
Listen,
Right?
I'm gonna tell you why I like Mike Tyson. I grew up in the 90s.
He's the
greatest champion
that's ever been.
Dripping with nostalgia.
impetuous.
His style is sick. You know what I mean? It's elements like that, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I know about
Yeah. It was the
boxing.
aura
and
of
then
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
There's the aura, and
He's
it's
a
the
cool
time.
guy.
I
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
90s.
I like Tyson.
and I've
Huge
said this
Tyson
before,
fan.
and this might be a crazy claim, but the person Mike Tyson is now, I've never seen a change in a human being from what he came from to who he is now and the type of person he is now. Whereas there's great people like an MLK, whatever, but they've been great people their whole lives, right? So you can't really, you're a product of your environment very often, you know what I mean? And if you grow up in an environment that's conducive to becoming a great person, you know what I mean? Whereas this guy didn't.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this guy came from like,
Ghetto.
Brownsville.
yeah, like
Savage.
I don't know any
Brooklyn
details,
Savage.
but like, beating up people all the time on the street, robbing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people, and now he's just like he's very like he's got a lot of shit that's nuanced and opinions.
He's got his own animated series.
No, fuck that. That
Just released
thing's
their
so
second
lame. I watched it. It's just not
I
funny.
saw that. It was pretty funny.
That's like Scooby Doo with all these
Yeah.
weird, like yeah.
It's funny that it's Tyson.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And
They,
it's his
they could have
voice.
done a better job.
Yeah.
All right. So what about this? What about this weekend? This Saturday, UFC
Yeah,
193.
drama.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Jesus.
I got
can't,
I
like-
got some money to put down. So do you ever put any bets down, Odrama? Do you ever wager
I
any
do.
money? Yeah.
I
What about that
work-
Holly Holm fight? I hope you earned some fat cash on that because it was like what plus 900 or something. Those odds.
Oh no, I did. I just bet the other dormant. I work at a bar, and in the 3 years that I've worked there, I've never lost a bet on the UFC fight yet. So I'm trying to keep this record
Seriously?
going. Yeah.
Who you going for
that's
this fight?
serious. Honestly, this entire weekend, because there's 3 fight cards coming up this weekend, and this is the hardest time I've ever had picking. Like,
Yeah, there's a
almost every fight,
UFC on Friday as well.
Thursday, Friday, and
Yeah,
Saturday.
I didn't know that. Is this Sage Northcutt guy? fighting?
Edgar Mendez.
Yeah. Well, the fight on Thursday is like the dedication 3 of fights. It's like all the young prospects, all the people that you're gonna see
What do you-
headlining.
The
Oh, you're talking about
dedication.
Lil Wayne's mixtape?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The dedication 3 had like
All Young Money.
Tiger,
yeah.
Drake, Nicki,
Yeah.
and all those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Yeah,
that's
this-
Thursday.
that's Thursday.
Yeah.
Where you
People
got
hate on the Sage guy.
Sage
He just looks
Northcutt.
like a Ken doll. Have you seen
Yeah,
him?
he's like built in a lab.
Yeah.
He has no personality. Like
He's like blonde. Like he looks like Ken the Barbie doll. Like
But is he
chiseled.
good?
he's good.
Well,
Like
he's
he's been doing
undefeated.
karate since he was like a little kid. But like, have you seen him talk? Like he just
I've
has,
never seen him.
Yeah, he does seem fake. Oh God,
Just-
gee, I'm just so
super, like-
Pull up a picture. You got
I'm
one?
just so happy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
You know what I'm hyped for? Anderson and Vitor
way.
too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
buddy. Because that's another fight where, that was crazy. I'm not going to take away from the up kick because that's creative and you don't expect that. But who's to say Vitor can't do damage, right? Well, I hope.
And he's been good after that.
But it's not the same Vitor.
He's been good after that too,
But Vitor is because he was on TRT. TRT Vitor and off. He's all dehydrated.
He didn't look good against Silva. He looked pretty shitty. He looked like out of shape.
A shell of a man. That's what they say. What about
But this card on Thursday with Paige Van Zandt, who's kind of cute, and Rose Namajunas, who's also kind of cute.
She's favorite Pages, I'm assuming.
I think she might be the underdog, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Paige is
I just searched her up the other day.
relentless. Paige is a psycho.
just like me?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah, she just relentless. Just jumps.
She
on
looks
these
scary.
Ground and pound all day. Shout out to her
Paige.
boyfriend.
What about Joanna?
Joanna Young J chick.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that I'm worried about. Paige Van Zant's just so pretty. I just pray to God the UFC keeps her away from Joanna Young J chick.
Oh, no.
Because she will butcher her face. It won't be
So
pretty.
Paige won't win that fight.
No, she'll die. She'll never look the same
And
again.
they're the same weight class?
Yeah. And that's just not a good look.
All right,
115
Odrum, I got to
pounds.
ask you about I got to spend a night partying with this guy, the UFC Canada champ Elias.
Elias
Elias.
with his luxurious locks.
Yeah, the Spartan. We went out in we were at an event in Kelowna, actually. We went out clubbing together. And you talk about how some guys have a persona, you know, that they play up.
Yeah.
When in real life they're something else.
Yeah.
This guy is exactly like he represents himself as. He was started on the Big Brother Canada, I think, and basically just talks shit more than anyone I know. And it's I kind of heard about this guy before we had met. He hadn't had many fights.
Is he undefeated?
Yeah, he's undefeated, 11-0. And
in the UFC or MMA?
no, he's 4 or 5-0 in the UFC. He won the Ultimate
something
Fighter.
like that. Yeah.
And so we met up with this guy, and he's a super nice guy. But you talk about someone that he doesn't hide anything for camera. That's exactly who the guy is, and he's a bit of a tough guy to hang out with for an entire weekend because he is intense and he's always on. But I remember we went out partying or whatever it was, and got home late, and then we were leaving the next morning, and I was checking out of the hotel, and as I'm coming out of the hotel, the guy was on the treadmill, in the gym of the hotel, and I look over and it's he's an hour and a half into his run already. It's 8 a.m. and we were out the night before, right?
God damn.
Just a cardio beast. But I find him interesting because they talked to him, about how GSP is kind of fallen off now. Obviously, retired, and who knows if he's ever coming back.
Yep.
And then they had
I don't think he should.
McDonald. Has the kind of the Canadian face of the UFC, and I
can't stand it.
I heard that was kind of the thing, is that this guy
Why
had
can't
no
you stand his personality?
just no
I
personality.
met him.
He's just a
He
flat.
came to one of our nights when we threw an event at Pop Opera. You were there.
Yeah, he's just so fucking
He was just
boring.
quiet in the corner.
He has
I'm
no
not gonna hate on
personality.
him for that.
But what
though,
they said about this guy is that they need a new face of the UFC because for UFC Canada,
Canada.
because
Yeah.
Roy McDonald just isn't that guy, and although his talent gives him that, he doesn't have the personality, and so this guy all of a sudden is now being really pushed to become that guy because he's so outlandish, he's so outspoken, he's always posing. He came in for his weigh-in, and he stops at the weigh-in and takes a selfie as he's getting weighed in. He's just that kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, do you think he's gonna win his fight this weekend?
He is. He's going against Santos, who's a savage Brazilian, crazy high kicks, things of that nature. But I think Elias is going to take it. He's improved pretty much every single fight.
What weight class is that?
The middleweight, I think.
Yeah.
So who's
185.
champ on minute? That's Weidman.
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 So he has to fight Weidman one day.
The guy's got
Weidman's
cardio
a
for
beast.
days though.
Possibly.
Weidman is a beast, man.
I
Fuck
talked to
Weidman.
Why do you hate
I
him?
talked to somebody who said that he told me that he thinks Rockhold's gonna win this fight.
Well, Rockhold's really good.
A lot of
And
people
I know
say
that
Rockhold,
'cause of-
and I'm surprised to hear that. Why?
I know Joe Rogan.
We'll get
That's
to
the
that.
only reason.
No,
That's the
we'll
only
break
reason
down
I-
the other card before we get to that. But
We're gonna break it down.
yeah, we'll break it down. But I like Elias in this fight. Yeah, he could be the face of Canadian MMA. I'm digging his hair.
He
GSP's
definitely
not
has
coming
the
back.
persona of just being a grinder, right?
Yeah,
the guy
he
just
is.
grinds out
Yeah,
fights.
he's
he's not the most
relentless.
technically,
I think Patrick
proficient
O'Shea's the
guy.
face, definitely.
No.
You know who I wish was still the face was David Loiseau, man. But that guy
Remember
just
that-
cut
the-
too many
what
of
is
his
it, the
faces
Raven, the
open.
Crow? What are
The
they called?
Crow, yeah. That guy
Yeah.
just elbows for days, and you just cut a guy up. And
Yeah.
You think GSP will be back?
No.
I think he might come back for a super fighter too, but I just think he shouldn't.
I don't think.
You know what I've noticed about Dana White? The media loves running with whatever he says and making him seem like an asshole. Like I see some of his headlines,
It's true. I don't.
and
Like
it's
him.
Dana White says GSP is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like, and then you listen to what he
Yeah.
says, and it's just not the way you think
No.
it is.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I don't think he's coming back. I think he's done. But they make it sound like he said, no, fuck him, he's done.
But Dana
Yeah.
does put his foot in his mouth a few times. Like he said some outlandish shit like a bit. But Dana's
Sure.
He was.
I
He was.
haven't
He was
seen
fair.
it.
I was. You're right though. He was fair about GSP though, saying that he shouldn't come back because he's just not hungry. Right?
Yeah.
Lawler's hungry.
but he
He's
doesn't.
here.
He didn't say it in a disrespectful
Yeah,
way.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
But
That's how I read
headlines
it. Right? But some people, yeah, took it too
communicate
far.
like he's just so whack. Like
because he has been.
But I've never seen that, right? So that's one, and the Jon Jones thing. They like asked him about this whole scandal. We could get into later about them UFC knowing Vitor was on
Tested high.
steroids
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
before
Yeah.
and still let him fight. And Jon Jones had some words to say about that, and then whatever Dana White responds to that. But the way he responds is just not how like anything I've read makes it sound. You know what I mean?
What's interesting about Dana White is you talk about a guy who's like completely the face of his own brand, right?
Yeah.
And the guy like hypes himself and puts himself out there better than any other
Promoter?
promoter, commissioner of any other athlete. Where you look at someone like the NFL and you got a guy like Roger Goodell that represents 30 different owners,
Yeah.
and they pay him $40 million a year to take all the shit. So he just gets shit on by everyone, the media, by a team, and every single choice that he makes. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's, yes, it's Roger Goodell, but he's representing his 30 employers who are paying his $40 million salary, right?
Yeah.
Someone like Dana White doesn't have that. He represents his own brand, which is you take a huge risk in being able to do that because you're going to face that criticism. But you have no fallback. It's not like you can, fire. He can't fire himself. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas like Roger
Well,
Goodell, it's like something bad happens, this whole Ray Rice thing, whatever it was, like everything. They can
could
be like,
replace
you know
him.
what? Yeah, they're not going to because the guy is generated. They went from what $5 or $6 billion a year. Now they're making $11 billion a year as the NFL. So the guy's essentially doubled your revenue. So you're not going to fire him because he's worth a hell of a lot more than the $40 million you're paying him, right?
Yeah.
But you can't do that to a guy like Dana White, which is why I think it's ballsy to be able to go out there and put yourself out there like that and become the face of your own franchise and become
Well,
the
it's
face
not
of your own
his.
sport.
The-
Yeah, but I
he's
mean he's part of it. I mean he's the president, and
Yeah.
he has like
Yeah.
another co-president or whatever that.
No,
what's
it's
his
the
name?
owners, the Zupa brothers.
But at the end of the day, I mean he's the face of that friend. They're not going to fire Dana White. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might remove himself or something like that. But to me, that's a ballsy move to be able to go out there. You don't have a commissioner. You don't have a guy that's kind of taking the fall for all the other owners.
I've read he like doesn't even like have a good relationship with his mom. Like
Oh yeah,
doesn't
she
like
came out and said a whole bunch of
yeah,
shit.
just hating on him. That sucks.
Says he's having sex with Octagon girls, which I'm not mad at. Shout out to you, Dana White.
Octagon
Yeah.
girl. Why would she
Everything
even
you
like
do for the
mention
culture.
that?
Who,
Like
his
that's
wife
a
said
bad.
that?
No.
Yeah.
His wife.
His mom said that. Sorry.
His mom
Oh, is he
said that.
married?
Yeah, he's married.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
married.
that's
yeah.
why it's bad. Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of
Octagon
weird
girls.
for your mom to like. I thought you were
Just
gonna say
some
like
name- some-
octopus or something. Like
Octagon girl.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Sounds cool, Mike.
So who watched that 1 hour interview with Jon Jones? And
did.
What's that guy's name?
Ariel Hawani.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw this,
I didn't see that.
but
did not.
it starts off. So it's like his redemption thing, right? After the whole accident,
Oh,
and
God.
it starts off. He's doing his community service, talking to schools, right? And we work with kids and stuff, so I have some experience and like him, like so it's just like weird seeing what he's doing. So I don't know if like you don't go talk to high school kids that often,
No.
or at all.
No.
But so I don't know if
Sure
you
I
would
hope
think it's
not.
weird.
Yeah, that sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah, what are you gonna say? You know what I mean? But like, what happened? You hit the thing. But yeah, it's just so weird. He's like, "Hey kids," so he's like in this gym, right? He's like, so like doesn't know
Oh,
what
he
to
told me
say.
about this.
He's like, so show me who knows who I am. Oh yeah, a few guys in the back. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, I see you. So yeah, it's just like so awkward. And then he's just like, I don't really know what his message is, right? Like, and he's like, so I did some bad things, or like he goes in and talks about how he's like an amazing fighter, but he like says those words. He's like, so I'm like an amazing fighter, and I'm like super cool. Like I got super cool fighting skills, and And now some guy's walking around with my belt calling it his own, but that's a mistake I made with what I did, and like it's like kind of like all over the place. Like, did you get that?
No, I did, but they spliced it up because one part where he's talking to like younger kids, there's one part he's talking to high school kids, and he's a little bit more honest with the high school kids. Like, how many guys heard about the car accident I was in, and shit like that. So
yeah, and that's very fair. I mean,
So when he was talking to like the little 7-year-olds, of course he was a lot more like, I was a really good fighter and But when he's talking to the high school kids, he's like, you guys know who I am. You guys heard about the car accident.
Right. Okay, so that's fair. That's very fair. Danger of editing. You can make people look stupid.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely can. But what I still don't understand is, so who was he saying, now someone has my belt?
He's talking about fuckboy Daniel
No,
Cormier.
no, but who was he saying that to?
Daniel Cormier.
Was he saying that to...
Jon Jones.
Was he saying that to the high school kids or the young kids?
I think he was saying it to both. But he's
It's
probably
just
more
a
talking
weird
to
thing to, like, it sounds like he's complaining almost. You know what I mean? Like, you're there to, like, own up for everything, but you're complaining. I don't know. It's just weird, right? It's just like...
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. If I was...
But I think he was just explaining how much he lost and how, like, now it's embarrassing because even someone's rubbing it in his face. It's like pouring salt in the wound type of thing.
Jon Jones, get your shit together.
I fucking hate that.
I can't believe he said that. You got beat up.
Yeah, like you didn't beat him.
Yeah, you lost.
Like,
You
if
want
he
him
was
to come
Jon
back so you
Jones,
can kick
come
your
back
ass?
so I could
Lose.
I want a rematch. Like, I'm hungry, whatever. But like, I don't know. Just the way he said it is just like...
Yeah, like I'm tough. Like, no, you lost. We all
He
saw
is
it.
really good though, right? Like, people have mad... Like,
He's good, but
He's
Jon Jones
good.
is great.
Yeah.
He's better.
Well,
Much better.
But Daniel Cormier's only lost to Jon Jones.
Yeah.
So he's got to be really good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but
He got hit by that big knee by Gustafsson.
Oh my God, that was a good
there
fight.
was like I don't know, he after that knee he wasn't the same that fight.
No.
I noticed
even
that.
said, he's just like,
he was like dizzy the whole
The
time.
truth
Like, man,
is, I
Gustafsson?
really like
Finish
Cormier
that
as a
guy.
person. Like, I like him. I
I
just...
just fucking hate him.
As a person?
I hate him with
He's
a
a nice
passion.
guy, man.
No,
like, when he won the belt and he couldn't stop smiling, I thought that was hilarious.
No.
Like, he looked like a little kid. He's
All
just like...
I think about is when he was crying after Jon Jones beat him. That was just
But,
I was so
yeah,
happy.
people say he shows... I watched that fight with you, too. That was a sick fight.
yeah. I was getting so loud in my house.
That's another thing, Odrama, is where you were, like, hyped and you're like, he's beating him at his own game and you knew all this shit. Whereas I just saw this, like, long decision fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, why is Jon Jones, like, wrestling and, like, being boring? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you were right, and he did what he...
Yeah, he just outgrinded him.
You think he could knock him out if he wants to, though?
Now with all the powerlifting and shit that Jon Jones is doing, like, have you seen him lately?
He looks
he's
huge.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
he was already like, I mean, they say he can move up to heavyweight in the sense of he's a
But
big
he was,
frame.
like, fat
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
fat, but, like, just
No, but
didn't
in
care.
between
Yeah.
camps, he was always fat. He'd just
Yeah.
like fuck off and like
Eat.
eat chips and like bang hookers and shit. But like now,
You think he's
just,
banging
like,
hookers? For sure.
yeah.
I think so.
For sure, but, like, who's...
Like when he got in,
You
when, he,
think he's banging hookers?
when he got in that first car accident, when he crashed his Bentley,
Yeah.
and like with 2 random females in the car, those
Oh,
are
really?
hookers.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard that. No.
Wait, when he the hit and run, he ran with 2 hookers?
No, he didn't.
Oh,
He
okay.
says he was leaving his
them both
friend's
up
house.
over his
No,
shoulders.
that was
Let's
the
go,
second car
girls.
accident.
Oh.
Yeah, the first one he crashed his Bentley.
So, what do you think of his wife? Like, she just doesn't care.
I think she knows what it is. It comes with the territory. Some celebrity wives, they know. Like, you're famous. You know, a lot of people want you. You're gonna be touring, like going all over the world. You're gonna.
I don't
have
know,
some
man.
fun.
Tiger Woods almost took a 9-iron to the dome when his
Yeah.
wife found out.
That's true.
But I think that's interesting because I think that's part of it, right? Like you look at a guy, like Tiger Woods, and I've always thought that talk about Michael Jordan as well, and Kobe Bryant to an extent as well. And everyone talks about, I don't obviously know them at all, but you hear a lot of stories of how these guys are kind of dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do
you
have
heard
this-
Jordan.
and
The Jordan
first.
stories are they're funny.
They're great, right? But that to me is part of it. Like when you look at a guy like Tiger Woods and his whole scandal when everything broke, and you
Yeah,
know,
you're
who he
just
is,
like,
who he
what
is
do you
since.
expect?
But
That
at the
was your
same time,
attitude.
like he's been he hasn't won a major for however long, and he's almost he's kind of talking about retiring at least and not being competitive as a golfer anymore. What I find interesting is that part of it. Does that lifestyle where you're able to, for lack of a better word, like feel like the man.
Yeah,
when you're able to go out and you have Tiger Woods, whatever, it was like 100 mistresses and all this stuff, right? And this guy's flying the world and he just like feels like he's the man no matter where he goes, right? So when he goes into a tournament, he's got this kind of aura around him, right? And then, like, to me, it's like the same thing of Michael Jordan. You need to be able to think you're the best in order to be the best, right?
It's funny how you said it's basically what Jordan said about Tiger Woods when he weighed in on that, saying that, you know, that you don't know what it's like to be the best. Like, people don't understand, like, being that good. And then just walking, or like, what are you supposed to do when hundreds of girls are coming up to you knowing who you are?
That's the thing. That's why, like, I when people started shitting on Ronda Rousey for coming out and talking all this shit, it's like you got to be able to believe, like you're saying, believe your own.
But there's
Exactly.
people who are normal too. There's champions who aren't like that.
like Wayne Gretzky, maybe.
Yeah.
A few like GSP,
But he-
kind
yeah.
of. But GSP was super boring to me. Like,
Even Jon Jones wasn't like running his mouth.
he was confident though.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
confident.
but
And also
nothing-
he wasn't. I don't think that Jon Jones was at the pinnacle for you know, as long as someone like Michael Jordan was. And it's obviously he was at a sport that's starting to grow, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're starting to grow a sport, obviously you don't have the, you know, when someone like basketball, when you got a guy like Michael Jordan or whatever it is, like, you have a very well established sport. Like, I knew Michael Jordan before I knew basketball as a kid,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like, I knew who that he was before I really understood what the game of basketball
Yeah.
was, right?
Word.
Whereas something like the UFC, where you have like this new sport, and I think for Ronda Rousey it's even more so because she's on the female side of it, right? So you're on like there's not a huge pool that you're pulling from, right? And you're basically carving out the path for your sport as a female. And so to me, like, being able to have that, whereas Jon Jones, in a sense, like, yes, he was the best, but that was disputable, you know. There were people that, like, he was at a point, he was kind of almost like the second generation of UFC stars, right? You had Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, you had all these guys that, you know, Royce Gracie, that kind of started the sport.
Yeah.
And then Jon Jones was kind of like the second coming. So you were watching someone, kind of the first kind of superstar of a sport, really start to embrace that. And Ronda Rousey to me was the same thing, which wasn't the case with someone like Michael Jordan, where you have guys, you know, decades of basketball players before you. Granted, you sent it to a whole new level with what you were able to do with it, and you kind of transcended the sport in a way. And to me, that was the same thing that was happening with Ronda Rousey, is she was starting to kind of transcend the sport, and people were starting to know who Ronda Rousey was before they knew what the UFC was, before they understood what fighting was, right? I don't think that was the case with Jon Jones. I don't think anyone said, oh, Jon Jones, what does he do again? Oh, he's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
It's like, you knew Jon Jones if you knew the UFC.
Yeah.
People knew Ronda Rousey before they knew the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she was starting to kind of transcend a sport and starting to get bigger than the actual sport was.
Being in movies and whatnot.
Yeah,
With
people
all
just
that
heard
kind of
about this pretty
Yeah.
girl that was just beating up people. They didn't really know exactly what the sport was. They
Yeah,
just
people
heard.
want role models,
Yeah.
right? Especially women role models. And
I,
like
thought, I thought she was. And then,
when she would hate on Kim Kardashian, I'm like,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I want people to hear this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I want girls to listen. And
Yeah.
stop liking Kim Kardashian. She's good for
Like when she
nothing.
had her whole "do nothing, bitch" speech. Like,
Yeah.
that shit was dope.
But it's like, I mean, like, I remember the first women's, not UFC, but MMA fight I ever watched was Cyborg and
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. That was the
Yeah.
very first women's fight that I ever watched, and I remember
Cyborg
like
murdered
watching
her.
it and the
Mauled
hype
her.
that was around that,
Was
right?
there a lot of hype?
There was so much
So
hype
much
in the sense of like in the fight world.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Was
I
it a
didn't.
Stupid fight.
Oh, Gina Carano was kind of hyped as this, pretty girl going
Yeah.
in, and she
Yeah.
was, she went on to do a bunch of Hollywood movies and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
she got mowed through.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Cyborg
By a
was-
It was
juiced
bad.
up cyborg.
Yeah.
Like,
She got
walked
caught with
through.
juice again, I think, recently.
Gina what? Carano?
Carano.
could be prettier than
What?
Ronda. It's up
I
for
think
debate.
so. I think
One
so.
thing. What about Paige?
Nah.
No.
She's little, that's why.
Yeah.
So what I want. This is Gina Carano.
Yeah, she's in a bunch
She's
of
another
films now,
fighter.
right?
Okay.
So, Odram, I got a question for you. So, there's 3 events happening this weekend, which
Yep.
to me is crazy because, like you were saying before, it's like you used to have one every 6 weeks or
Yeah.
3-4 months, kind of between
Yeah.
fights. Do you think it's possible to oversaturate the UFC market in the sense that you're not going to, because you're working on a pay-per-view? It's not like the NBA or the NFL where you can turn on to cable TV. You got CBS, you got
Well,
Fox,
that's the
whatever
argument.
else. Where you can constantly kind of keep updated with this stuff. With the UFC, it's like it's going to cost you $60 every time you want to watch
Yeah.
one of these fights, or you're going to have to go to a bar and make a night out of it, right?
Well, that's the thing. They have.
Before you answer that, is the argument that the reason oversaturation could be bad is because it costs them.
No, I'm just
That's
asking,
part of
is
it.
it
That's
possible to
part of it.
oversaturate the market? I don't know either
Because
or,
I just
but-
think you just don't tune in to the fights you don't care about.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, but
what's
I haven't ordered a UFC fight in a while now.
Yeah.
And before, I remember it was like every single event I needed to watch. I like made it's like, oh, this is coming up 2 weeks from now. Okay, this Saturday I get my buddies
Actually,
together.
that was you?
My buddies together. We're gonna go here, right? And it was like, that kind of ended for me with
there's
like the
still
Brock
huge
Lesnar
fights.
era. I
There's
guess
still
is
huge
kind of
fights
when
now.
that started.
Yeah. That's what I-
Yeah, there's huge fights, and I'll still tune into like a big fight. But I'm not gonna like before. It was every single UFC I had to watch,
Yeah.
and it didn't matter
It's
who was
true.
fighting to me.
It's
Whereas
true.
now, like the market's starting to. I'm just wondering because I'm not a huge fight guy. Like I'll watch the fight if it's on or if I can get it.
Yeah.
But now that they're on Fox and they're starting to potentially transition to that kind of cable.
I
market,
totally think that's true. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm over it now. Like it's not as exciting
the
anymore. 'cause
fighters.
it
It's
was-
not about the fact that
It's true. Yeah.
They
it's-
are giving you more
there's-
options. It's like you're not gonna watch every single football game or anything like that. I think
No.
they're trying to give you more options,
Like,
and they're
yeah.
catering to certain crowds. Like they had a fight in Korea the other day, and
Yeah,
China.
crowds,
yeah, and that aired at like, I think it was like, the fight card started at 5:00 in the morning for us. So they're not really airing to us. It's just
Yeah.
fight fans in different parts of the world, and your fighters. So you're gonna tune into who your fighters are. You're gonna watch that.
But-
they're just trying to give you more options. I
But
think.
also,
Yeah.
doesn't it give opportunity for stars to more chances for stars to kind of
Yeah. 'Cause
more
the thing-
fights, more good
and
fighters?
you have like 600 people in the roster, so you have to get those fights
Yeah.
out somehow.
Yeah.
Because isn't it like analogous to like, why doesn't like European basketball affect the NBA? Like you just don't watch European basketball unless you're interested.
Right,
you know
but
what I
like
mean?
you look at a sport like football,
Yeah.
the biggest sport by
Okay.
far, right? And the second biggest sport in the U.S. is what? College football, right?
Yeah.
And so what's the deal? The NFL says that because the NFL plays what? Sundays, Thursdays, Mondays, right?
Mondays.
Yeah.
Thursdays is like the dumbest thing ever. Thursday night football is terrible, right?
Why?
It's
Yeah.
because it's shit. You got 4 days to recover. Most guys say they can't walk until Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And so like how are you supposed to prepare for a game when you're literally running and getting hit by a car on Sunday 30 times over as an NFL player. Monday you take off. Tuesday you start to kind of you're like ice baths and you're starting to get your body back in. And then you have up to Sunday. Hopefully, you have a whole week to recover, prepare.
But
right?
what do you mean the same teams fight every Sunday? I mean
No,
play
but you'll
every
be
Sunday?
scheduled for a Thursday night game. So you'll play Sunday and then you're expected to play again on Thursday, which to me, like that 4-day break, you talk to any NFL fan, they're going to tell you that Thursday night games are trash because they're underprepared. Guys are getting injured.
Yeah.
They're just bad games in general, right?
Yeah.
And you tend to get certain types of teams that kind of excel on those kinds of games, which aren't necessarily your best teams, but they can play well on Thursday nights because of their the system that they play or whatever it is, right? But the reason that the NFL does that is because Friday night in the U.S. is high school football night. So that's when all high schools play. So you got,
That's
you got
huge, eh?
you
High
got
school.
30,000 people going to a high school game. They're not going to tune into NFL. And so the NFL has said, okay, we're not going to go Friday nights. And then they
30,000 people to a high school game?
Dude,
Yeah, man.
the biggest,
Huge.
the biggest, in Tennessee, one of the biggest before they built a couple of the new stadiums. One of the biggest stadiums in the North America was a high school
So
football
these
stadium.
kids are celebrities.
Yeah,
Basically.
you got 70,000 people that can go to a high school football. That's
They're
BC Place
televised,
sold
man.
out.
But they don't get paid for it.
Yeah,
get
that's
paid.
the saddest part.
Yeah.
But the NFL, what they were able to do is they said, okay, Friday nights we're not going to play football because that's high school football night, right? Saturday nights we're not going to play football because that's college football's night, right? And so we play Sundays. So the only other day they could do it was Thursday. Ideally, they would want to play Saturday or something to give that extra kind of recovery time for and have better games, better products. But instead they play Sunday, Monday, right? But what the NFL's been able to do is you get 16 games a year. That's it. Right, unless
Yeah.
you're in the playoffs, right? So there's so much analysis and there's so much
Yeah.
hype leading up to these games where you have so many, and fantasy is so big obviously now too with gambling and things like that. So you have like this whole fantasy world that's really helped the NFL and things like that. UFC doesn't have that, right? So to me, being able to like have a 2 or 3 week build up to a Saturday event is so valuable in the sense of how much analysis you can do, how much hype you can do, so on and so forth. Whereas if you're having fights every single night, you're
But
feeding into a different type
You're
of market.
referring to this week, which has Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday fights?
Well, I'm just saying,
But
like,
how often does that happen?
This is the first time it's ever been done.
Yeah,
this
so
is the
why
first
does that
time.
matter?
yeah, but the first time, but there's a first for everything, and it's going to continue that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm saying is that with something like the UFC, to me, it has a similar system of the NFL where you can't fight every day. It's not hockey, it's not baseball. You can't go out every day or every 2 days and fight another fight, right? You need those big breaks in between.
But like you said, 600 guys on the roster.
600 people in the roster, you got to get them out somehow.
You
I don't
can.
think it matters, man. If
Yeah.
you're not, if I don't think it matters.
Unless you're going to have fight cards that are 12 hours long.
I don't.
And some fighters, you got to
that.
keep into account. Some fighters, finish fights in a minute. Nothing happens
Okay.
to them. They can easily fight our next fight.
So
Yeah.
I just want to ask you. So you're saying you used to buy the fights.
I'm saying that I
Now
used
it's
to-
oversaturated, so you don't.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when I first got into UFC, it was the fighters, right? It was
Yeah.
1 or 2 fighters. So Chuck Liddell, right? And for Chuck Liddell, it was the image that he had. It was that
never
that fucking
watched.
overhand throw that he would do, where he just
Yeah.
basically huck his shoulder at a guy, and his fist would follow and just land,
Yeah.
vertically
Yeah.
on a guy's face and knock
Yeah,
him
with
out,
Chuck
right?
Liddell, it was like the hairstyle, the fighting style, the celebration at
The
the end of it.
Iceman, he had this
Like-
fucking whatever that was, right? And to me, for UFC, that's what I fell in love with, right? I fell in love with the fighter, and then I would tune into when that fighter was fighting.
And that's exactly how I am. So
But-
I don't tune into the other fights.
But they're trying to
Yeah.
build these superstars now, and they have to get them out somehow.
But there's people
But
who
can you
care.
do that while you are still in a pay-per-view market? That's my question.
Right.
Because it's not I'm not going to pay $50-$60 to tune into these fights if I don't care about, or if I only care about one of the fighters in them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was something like on Fox and and you had Wednesday night fights or Thursday night fights, whatever it is, then there's a better chance that I might be tuning into these things. I might be watching, because right now, 90% of these fighters that we've been mentioning, I have no fucking clue who that guy is, right? Because I don't know. I don't follow the sport. I don't understand, the ins and outs of it, right? Whereas I could probably tell you a lot more NFL players, and that doesn't mean that I watch those guys play. I don't watch
Okay.
the Jacksonville Jaguars
Let
play,
me-
but I could tell you who Blake Bortles was, and I could tell you how well he's playing. You know what I mean? Whereas I can't do that with fighting.
Let me say this to you though. For me, as the casual fan I am, I am pretty much what you were years ago before this so-called oversaturation. So I don't even know these other fights. I didn't even know there's Thursday, Friday fights happening because I don't care. So I care about Conor McGregor. These are the fights I watched this year. What was that with you? I watched the Cormier. Okay, so
Gustafsson.
with
That card
drama, Cormier, Jones. Was that 2015? It was, right?
No. I think it
Oh,
was
maybe
end of
that's 2014
Yeah.
December. Whatever. Watched that one. Then I watched, Rampage and Cormier, the big ones, Cormier, Gustafsson.
Cormier fought Rampage?
No.
No, sorry, not Rampage. Rumble.
Rumble. I was at that fight.
You were there?
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about Rumble for a sec. That guy's crazy. He didn't knock out Cormier, but he knocked him
dropped
down.
him. Yeah.
Dropped him,
and that's
3
his
times.
thing. To me, if you're known as a guy who'll one punch you, and then you get dropped, that's not there's something special there. It's not luck. It's not he just had some lucky breaks. He just knows how to drop someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
He just
Anyways.
has freak strength.
So yeah, so that
I think what the UFC tried to do with this weekend was to gear you up for the biggest fight card of the year, which is Aldo and McGregor.
which
And
is
it's the end
stacked.
of the year,
That
yeah.
card's stacked. So anyways, what I'm saying is I feel like what you just described how you were a few years back. There's a lot of time in between fights in my perspective, fights I care about, right? So I don't see how them having these random other fights matters at all.
Because it's all about making money at the end of the day. It's a business, right? It's
That's
all about
what I was
the
wondering.
revenue.
So you look
look at the NFL.
are they getting a loss from
Yeah, because for me, you need to be able to put more fights out there in order to make more money, right? That's just the fact of it, right? But if you look at something like the NFL, and I just use that as an example because of how successful it is, and how little content there is. When you really come down to it, you
16
watch
games.
16 games, you get 22 minutes, they say, of actual action in a 4-hour
So you're just
broadcast,
on purely
right?
business model.
Yeah, well,
You're
to
not
me,
talking about fandom.
no, because I'm not. I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't approach it from that sense.
That's been my misunderstanding this.
Okay,
whole
never
argument.
mind then.
Yeah. Never mind then.
No, but from a business perspective, right?
Right,
You look at the
right.
NFL. The NFL doesn't have a success with its diehard fans. Those diehard fans are gonna fucking tune in every Sunday. They don't
Yeah.
care. The diehards are the diehards. If you're a big fight fan, you're gonna buy that fight. You're gonna watch it. UFC
Yeah.
doesn't care about that. They got you. You're hooked, right?
Can we talk
they
about
care
that
about
fight?
they care about the people that aren't a part of that world
Aldo.
yet, right?
Yeah.
So you look at something like fantasy football. Fantasy football is so big in the States for pulling in casual NFL fans, because I'm not going to watch a Tennessee Titans Jacksonville Jaguars game because I could care less about both of those two teams. But if I got
Sounds
one of
made
those
up.
but if I got one of those players in my NFL pool, I'm going to tune into that game to see how well that one player plays. It's the same thing when they say, like, you're watching a game and it's a blowout, right? A team's winning, they're up by 3 touchdowns, the game's over. If you change the channel, the NFL is now losing money on the advertisements that are playing for the rest of the game, right? But they don't. No one changes the channel because you still care about the 1 or 2 players that you have in your pool and that you want to see how they perform for the rest of the game, right? And it's a gambling thing, it's a big betting thing, things like that. What I'm wondering is that how does that happen with UFC? How do you get it to the point where you can grow it in that sense, where you can have the casual fan still tuning in, watching fights, still gaining a knowledge of the fight world? Because I've lost that. That's what I'm trying to say, is I've lost that interest in the sense of I have pulled back from my knowledge of the UFC. And yes, I know who the few stars are here and there,
You
but
just love sports statistics.
but I
You're
don't
that kind of guy.
but I don't tune into the casual fight, and that's what the UFC needs to hook, because
Yeah.
that's how they're going to make money.
That's the thing, like with this card, because they already know millions, even the casual fans are going to tune in this Saturday. So they're trying to wrap this whole package. Like on Thursday, they're showing you all the people that are going to be the stars. I think they're trying to bring you into that and be like, hey, these are the people going to mainline
Sage.
pay-per-view. Like Sage Northcutt, Paige Van Zandt,
Kendall.
Rose Namajunas, another guy, Aljamain Sterling, who's, I think, might be the champion of bantamweight. I think they're trying to like feed what the diehards want and see like some of the best fights, but they're also trying to bring in those casual fans to like show you like, here, these guys are going to be who you're going to be watching and rooting for later on.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like all these cards are free except for Saturday's card.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're just giving it to you, showing you what's
like
possible.
but
baiting
you make money off advertisements, don't
Yeah.
you?
But
Yeah.
not when you're pay-per-view.
But they're not pay-per-view, are they?
No, the Saturday fight is.
Saturday
Yeah.
fight is.
Yeah, but that's a stacked card.
Sure. So do you think that the reason that it can't get on cable TV is, 1, because of the revenue that pay-per-view generates, or 2, because fighting's still not a mainstream accepted
I don't
within...
know. I have
Well,
no
it's one of the
idea.
fastest growing
I don't
sports,
care.
and with them on Fox Sports 1 and all that.
I'm just down to watch the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know, like all this business model and stuff like that. The at the end of the day, Conor McGregor, you know, a couple months ago, maybe half a year ago, I didn't know who he was, and he still existed and had the same record he has today, or maybe a year ago it was, I don't know. But at the end of the day, they still have the ability to create huge stars. I remember people were saying, "Oh, GSP, Silva, they're gone."
Yeah,
You know,
people were
over.
like, yeah,
What's gonna?
done.
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And it's just they can stars will be born, man. Like Conor McGregor is huge. Like I'm so excited for that fight, and it's pure hype. But I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to see what happens. It's that's why I like
It's
it.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So
So
who are we going with here?
Hold on. Let's
I
not just
want-
skip over Friday night because we got
Friday,
Frankie
Edgar and
Chad
Mendes.
Mendes, which
I
is
think
fucking-
Edgar's gonna take that.
Yeah.
I think Edgar's gonna take that.
Chad
I
Mendes
think
only
Edgar could
lost to
take
Aldo
McGregor,
and
man.
McGregor.
Yeah. I think, yeah, Frankie's probably going to win this fight, and that's going to be problems.
Frankie lost to Aldo, right?
Yeah,
More than once.
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 Good performance by Aldo.
Mendes did twice.
So why does Mendes get 2 shots at Aldo and Edgar got
Just because he
one?
worked his way back up.
Yeah, a lot.
And they called him in for late notice when Aldo pulled out the last time.
No. I said two fights for not
Against Aldo?
Yeah, Aldo, because
Yeah,
he,
he worked
lost
his way
once, worked
Yeah.
his way back up,
Right,
lost
yeah.
again in a great fight. Like, it was back and forth. He still lost. And then, he got another title shot because they called him in for late notice.
Against McGregor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for this fight, Frankie's just too experienced. His fight IQ is just way better than Chad Mendes is. Mendes isn't really a combo fighter.
You think he could beat Conor McGregor?
Who?
Edgar?
Frankie.
I think so.
I think so. I think
sure.
I think he's trouble.
I just want him to be the best.
He had a good fight against Aldo too.
Yeah.
People overlooked that, but
Yeah.
you know,
I just
and he
want-
was a champion. You
Yeah,
know,
Frankie's
you
a
can't-
beast, man.
Yeah,
Like-
Frankie is a beast.
I just want a cartoonishly awesome champion that I could be like, yes, you
Yeah.
know, they
Mm-hmm.
exist.
You don't want a Mighty Mouse. You want a
No,
Connor.
Marty Mouse is.
I want
I don't like him.
I want what's his name, Jon Jones, to be undefeated forever and just just be the Tyson.
I
of
think
my
he will
era.
be, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard to
I
imagine
don't
him
know, man.
losing.
I don't see any.
I don't-
He's
beating.
been
don't
close,
know.
man.
But also, when you've been out of a fight game for a year and a half, and then all of a sudden you go against a guy who's been fighting for the last couple of years and has some consistent
What,
fights.
Cormier?
No, Jon Jones. Yeah, how do you step into that fight too?
Who
right?
had consistent fights? Cormier?
Yeah, Cormier's
Yeah.
been fighting. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
he's
saying?
fought a
Like,
lot.
well,
I don't
that-
think
that-
he
the
could
same-
win.
Fought-
He could
he
win.
fought
man.
twice since he fought Jon Jones.
Perfect example is Cain Velasquez against Verdum. getting submitted like that. He came in. He was how many, a year and a half or something?
Yeah,
Can
something
you,
like that.
like, how can you not fight?
And then he comes back and just was slow.
It's tough, man.
taking
Like it's,
hits.
it's,
But then
it's
again,
like
you look at people
yeah.
you look at people like Dominic Cruz, who was out for nearly 3 years.
And now he's getting a title shot.
Yeah, but he came back against that Asian dude. I forget his name, but he just came back like a bat out of hell and just washed him. And it's like, holy shit, he's back.
Bat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, for me, it's just about the legacy and the story and, you know, the narrative behind it. It's not about, and I'm not saying that's the right way to think about it. I think to care about technique and all that is important.
But do you think it would be a bigger story if Jon Jones came back and reclaimed his title, or Jon Jones came back
still
and got
talking
the
about Jon
shit
Jones.
kicked out of him? What would be a bigger storyline? To me, if Jon Jones came back and got his ass beat by Cormier, to me that's a bigger story
and
than
then
if
there's
he
a
wins.
third round.
Yeah, then they have to have the rubber match.
Right? To me, that's a bigger story.
It is, but I just don't want to say it. It's too painful.
But if you're talking about like legacy in the sense of, it's like if you know you need that, you need to have that like. It's like
You
people
need the
like
drama.
that
Yeah.
they say Ronda Rousey losing was actually probably better for her career in the sense of
Good for UFC too.
she's coming back with
sure.
a rematch that's going to be such
They
a huge
say
hype
that
for her.
it may be, but if she was undefeated forever, like no one's saying that about Mayweather. Mayweather had a loss. No one's gonna say it's
Right, but if Mayweather lost to Pacquiao,
Oh, come on.
Just,
but that's
leave
some-
Mayweather alone, right? He's
Fuck
49-0. Just leave the guy alone. He's retired, right?
He's coming back.
Just leave him alone.
Mayweather. Okay, but I like Pacquiao. You know what I mean? I don't like Cormier. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that would
I don't know
be-
what
but
you
you're
mean.
talking about legacy. You're not. You're talking about wanting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
Pacquiao's
see-
got a legacy.
But whose legacy are we talking about?
Fuck Cormier.
Well, you're talking about
Mayweather's?
storylines, right? You
Yeah.
want to be a part of like live in this world where these storylines are taking place. So when I'm like 90 years old, I can tell my kids about that time that I watched
Yeah, I'm
Jon Jones, right? Like whatever it is, you're the greatest fighter, and all these new fucking
That's
fighters,
me.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's, if that's what you're looking for,
I'm the worst.
if that's what you're looking for, though,
I'm just saying that's what I
then
find
to me, I would
interesting,
want
yeah.
him to lose.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not to someone I don't
It's-
like. Like
Who
if
would
he
you-
lost, okay.
if he lost to Gustafsson.
Rumble, I'd be like, now I think that's what you're trying to get at me. I'd be like, oh, I don't want that to happen, but that's crazy because Rumble, I love Rumble, but not Cormier. That little,
Rumble's not gonna beat Jones.
that
anyway.
wiener.
He could catch him though. Like anything could
Yeah.
happen, but
I just don't see it.
But if he did, that'd be nuts. And
So-
like, I don't want that to happen.
drama.
Yes,
What do you?
sir.
What do you? How do you think Edgar's gonna beat Mendes? Like how's this gonna go down?
it's gonna come down to footwork, head movement. Because you've seen Frankie get rocked by
Yeah.
like Gray Maynard and stuff like that, and
Nothing.
Chad could blast. So I think it's gonna come down to footwork, head movement. He's just gonna outwork him, outpace him. Chad's gonna have a full camp this time, so he's not gonna gas out like he did with Conor McGregor.
Do you think if he rematched Connor, he'd have a chance?
I think so. Could have a
Yeah.
chance.
Oh, he was beating him.
He was doing well.
He's
Yeah.
taking him down. But why'd he gas? He's just tired. Took
it
a
was
short
he didn't
notice.
have
notice, man.
he didn't have a full camp, and Conor was blasting him to the body. That takes a lot out of you. Like your
That
body's
spinning
just
back
tensing
kick-
up. Spinning back
back
kick.
kick
He
to
was
the body. That was a
landing the
big
front
one.
snap kick. He was landing
Yeah,
shots.
I
to
don't
the
want to
body.
take it away from Connor because
He was doing
fucking
well.
knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he almost got caught in a fucking guillotine
Who did?
by someone, Connor,
Oh.
and he got out of it from someone from Team Alpha Male, which is all they work is their guillotines. Like
Who's
that's
from Team Alpha Male?
Chad
Connor?
Mendez.
Who's
Uriah
that one
Faber,
fucking guy from the Ultimate Fighter that just
DJ
like won
Dillashaw.
every one of his fights by guillotine? That long-haired fuck.
Oh,
What's that guy's name again? I just remember that guy, and like everyone just had a whole type because that's
From
how.
Ultimate Fighter.
I know who you're
he just
talking about too.
And like everyone's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go against. All he does is guillotine. And then like, sure enough, guy gets guillotined like a minute.
Yeah.
Can
I think
we
it was
just
Cody McKenzie or something?
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, drama. Can we just pause with the real life story we had where we had my German exchange student roommate who got it. We don't gotta drop names, but gets
I
into
like
a
Philip.
street fight that he started. But the biggest, like, he was like, what, 6'5", but like a pussycat, right? Like,
Yeah.
super nice guy, but
Oh.
ends up getting drunk. And I think, oh yeah, because a week before or something, he got like embarrassed. Like, got punched or something. So I think he had this like built up anger in him. But anyways, gets into this street fight that he caused, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like fighting, and it's just
No,
like,
but how did he get us there? Because he said he was outnumbered.
yeah. First he lied to us and said that he was talking to this girl, and the guy came with his buddies and like threatened him. So we went to like help him out, and he lied. Like the guy single-handedly told him to fuck off, and he got all scared and came and got us. So he tried getting out of it. Yeah. We told him like he's like, well, fuck this guy, Australian guy. He's like, buddy, fight me then. Like, you brought your boys, fight me. And he's like, oh, no. And we're like, no, you're fighting him, buddy. You called us here and lied to us.
Like you said, there was like 3 of them.
Yeah, you told us.
Is that what you said, Phil?
Yeah. So anyway, so they end up fighting, and he's doing well, German boy. He's tall or whatever. It's not a good. I don't want to drop his name. He's doing well.
I did not quite want to fight.
Yeah, and he's not.
I did not want to fight him, but you made me.
And they don't know how to fight, but that random guy that walks up, and we think, he's gonna call the cops or something. Like,
Some guy in a trench coat. Like,
yeah, like it's like a crisp fall night. You know, like when you breathe, it's like fog or whatever.
What, this guy was wearing a trench coat?
Yeah, it
some
just
white
looks
dude
super
like looks like a
cinematic. Is what I'm trying
businessman,
to
like
say.
trench coat, like had a scarf on, just looks like some slick lawyer type dude.
Fog breath?
Fog. What do you call that when it comes? It's like frost breath.
That's not frost
I don't remember that
either,
part.
man.
It's not frost, but that's what they call it, isn't it? When you breathe in a cold, whatever. Fuck. It looked very cinematic.
Frost breath.
Yeah.
Super. That's gonna be your UFC name.
Introducing first.
So listen, the best part of the story. So guy comes out and we think he's gonna like be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, get off and call the cops. And he's coming, he's approaching, and he's like staring at these guys rolling around on the ground.
And he just stops and he puts his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he's like standing beside us. He starts watching the fight.
What?
He's just like,
No, listen.
just put him in a guillotine.
No, you ruined it. He goes, like, I'm watching him like, oh no, what's this guy gonna do? He goes, slowly getting hyped, like watching, and he goes, yeah. Put him in the guillotine. Like this guy who looks like he could be your dad, right? Like, yeah, put him in the guillotine. Like joins joins us as a spectator. Oh my god, we died laughing. But the guillotine made me think of that. But anyways, back to this guy who guillotined everybody. You guys were saying?
Yeah, Cody McKenzie.
I got a fight question for you, Odrama.
Yes.
I myself am not
The profession,
not a fighter.
the expert.
Yeah, we heard that part.
Yeah.
We know you're not.
Hey, don't test me. Don't test me.
Yeah, he could out stats.
So,
You worked.
In getting in a street fight, for example, is there a code of ethics in the sense of what you can, what you can't do, like because we were saying before, you know, if you're really gonna fight some guy, and if it's like life or death, like fuck, you're eye gouging, you're doing whatever the fuck you're gonna do, right? If you're getting into a street fight, is there like an agreed upon, like, all right, do you like talk it out ever? You know, like this is what's gonna happen? Is it just kind of a general understanding?
But I've seen some of drama street fights, and it's always people that you're not trying to embarrass yourself, right? So I'll let you take it.
I guess there's kind of an unspoken rule, but then again, it also depends on if you're by yourself or you're
Situation,
with like a bunch of people. You know what I mean? If I'm by myself, like I might grab and twist your nuts for cultural purposes, things of that nature. But like if you're around other
depends the
people,
circumstances though.
yeah,
Right? Like if it's a guy and he's unpredictable,
yeah,
and like it's like a crackhead, that's like for sure. But if it's some guy who's trying to like be a G and like knows the same circles and you know like
yeah, then you're just gonna square it up and like fight like a normal person.
yeah. But
shoot
if
the
like
fair
your
one.
life's being right, or you really don't know.
You don't know this motherfucker. Like if you get knocked out, he could just be kicking you in the head, and you don't want that to happen. Then you just gotta fight a little bit dirtier than you really would. Bite somebody in the cheek and shit like that.
Someone in the cheek.
Go Tyson on it.
Yeah.
Cheek. Yeah.
It's pretty whack.
All right, so Saturday, 193. Oh, drama.
194.
190. Is it 194? Oh my
194.
god. See, like I
Jeez,
said,
Matt,
I'm behind,
do you not
man.
know anything about
I'm fucking way behind on this UFC thing, man. Like I'm still thinking Chuck Liddell's fighting this weekend. So.
Wait, Jacare Souza fighting Yoel Romero.
Yeah,
Is that right?
That's gonna be
Middleweight?
This fight card is so stacked, like it's retarded.
Were you watching it? Pint, you're working.
Yeah,
The Pint.
yeah.
Well, am I going with you to Doolin's?
I thought we were going to your house to watch it.
Well, I don't know if I'm doing that.
Well, we could do whatever.
Come to the pint, son.
Pint. All right, whatever. Anyways, yeah. UFC 194.
You want to break down the whole main card?
Let's do it.
All right.
I got nothing but time. Or do we?
Yeah, we're fine.
We got time.
All right, so
You
who do
wanna
we
pull
got?
that up?
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
Well, are we starting from the bottom?
Just from the main card.
What do we got? Luke Rockhold, Chris.
All right,
Weidman.
so first, are we doing the Fight Press early prelims or just main card?
No,
main
both main
card.
card.
Okay, we got
Jump right to it.
Holloway Let me try my number 5. Max Blessed Holloway from the United States of America versus Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens.
What do you do?
Jeremy Stevens.
All right, up next.
Are you gonna be my what's his Jeff? Fuck, I hate that guy. I hate that
Which
guy.
Which one, Mike Goldberg?
Michael, I fucking hate that guy.
Or tail of the tape.
That guy?
If there was like any reason I would stop watching the UFC, it's because of him. Man.
It's funny when you watch Joe Rogan talk and then like you just look at Mike Goldberg.
He's
He's
just,
just like staring right at him.
My issue with the two of them is that they haven't like carved out what their role is within like the announcer game, right? Like you always have your play-by-play and then a color guy, right?
Yeah.
With them, it's kind of like you got Joe Rogan who happens to know a lot about fighting. And some other guy, you know, like who just like always just asks questions
he's just the
and
voice.
talks.
Yeah.
Relentless ground and pound.
And now,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Like Goldberg, like you just gotta listen to the UFC and listen for him to say stupid shit. Like that's my favorite part of watching fights. Sometimes is listening to him make mistakes because he says some of the most outlandish shit. You're just like, what the fuck are you talking
You know,
about?
this guy just
I
really
heard him
knows
say
a lot about fighting, you know?
Yeah.
Well, no shit. He's a fighter.
Like when Ronda Rousey was getting beat
Yeah,
up, he's
yeah,
like,
that's what-
it's hard being a rock star.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like Joe Rogan's like, that has nothing to do with it. Like, what are you talking about?
it's hard being a rock star.
In the middle of the fight, she's getting washed. It's hard being a rock star. Like,
Yeah, and
what
then
the
he's
fuck
like,
are you
he's
talking
just getting
about,
punched in
beloved?
the face. It has nothing to do with being a rock star.
Yeah. Like, son.
all right. So this is what 145. These guys are fighting at. Both Americans. Max Holloway 14-3-0 record. Jeremy Stevens 24-11. 11 losses.
Jeremy Stevens is
Imagine
coming off one of the best
Step it
flying
up.
knee knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Stevens?
Jeremy
I gotta
Stevens
say,
is
I'm on the UFC website right now. So it has their reach, right? It's got Max Holloway at 69 inches, Jeremy Stevens at 71 inches. Leg reach, Jeremy Stevens 38 inches, Max Holloway
Zero?
0 inches.
Why?
He's got no legs.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So who you got in this fight?
Hugo, you want to take this one first?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know shit.
I don't know shit. I think I'm gonna go Stevens on that one. Just because I know who he
He's
is.
sucking in for his fight photo here.
Yeah, you can tell.
He's trying to pose a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he?
Jeremy Stevens is just coming off of the best flying knee knockout you're ever going to see. It's perfect. But then again, he came out to Real Motherfucking G's by Eazy-E, so you're supposed to win that fight. That might be the greatest walkout song in history.
What would be your guys' walkout song?
Ooh,
Let's go around the circle.
I already said Rage Against the Machine. Who did that? Was that you? Yeah. Odrama hates Rage. You think Rage Against the Machine is a bad music?
But what song though?
Know
Can you sing
Your
it? I
Enemy.
want you to sing it a little bit.
Know Your Enemy.
How's it sound? How does it go?
It's just, you gotta know. It's sick.
Come on.
Well, you want me to sing it?
Yeah, why don't you
No,
just
there's
sing
a
it?
bunch of swearing.
Uh-huh.
I don't swear.
All right.
I'd probably go
It's
to
sick.
like Victory. I think Biggie.
That'd be tight. That'd be
Victory.
What about you, Drama?
tight. I'm going with 50 Cent, Many Men.
Really?
Man.
That's not what you chose before.
I think I go with Why Can't We Be Friends?
Yeah, I saw that
Homer
coming.
Simpson.
All right, so who do you got, O'Drama, in this fight?
I got Max Holloway.
Max Holloway.
He's the only person to go to the decision with Conor McGregor. Granted, Conor McGregor fucked up his knee in that fight, but
Oh, this is featherweight.
yep.
Yeah, 145. What round?
Was Stevens he was in other weight class, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fighting heavier before this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Max Holloway's just been on a tear. He lost to Conor McGregor and then Dustin Poirier, and ever since then, I think he won his last 5. So I'm going with him. Seems
What-
confident. He's figuring it out. It's a young kid.
How does he win and by what round?
I'm gonna say rear naked choke, 3rd round.
Third round, rear naked.
Rear
choke.
naked.
So what, is he going to gas Jeremy Stevens a little bit and then
Yeah.
slip it in?
Jeremy Stevens came in heavy in his last fight. Doesn't have the best gas tank, so yeah.
There you
He's
go.
going down.
Says he's got Max Holloway 5.7 significant strikes landed per minute versus Jeremy Stevens 2.7. So that'll be interesting. All right, next up, Damian Maia and Gunner. What the fuck kind of
Gunner.
Gunny Nelson?
Yeah.
Gunny's his nickname?
Yeah.
Gunny.
He trains
I
at
have my
That's just
fight
not-
song queued up. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
You're probably gonna hate, but this is the part of the song I just think it's sick when it's played really loud. That's the part I come out to.
I could hear someone
Yeah.
coming up for that. Yeah.
And now, would you be the kind of guy to come out with like serious face, no
No.
bullshit, like
I
looking
don't
straight
know,
ahead,
man.
or would you gig in the fives? Would
Lorenzo would be
you
high
know?
fiving for sure.
Yeah.
Nah, fighting.
Smiling.
Or would you just be like, what's that crazy guy's name? We mentioned him before.
Diego Sanchez.
Yeah,
The
would you do-
Nightmare?
Yeah.
The Nightmare, who's just
When he came out with the cross.
he like looks like he's carrying like 2 buckets of water while
Yeah.
he's walking up.
Buckets.
Buddy, when Rhonda came out, I thought that was like forced mad face.
No, that's her all the time.
I
Like,
don't
she's
know.
fighting.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's a song I'd come out to.
All right, so Damian Maya, we got 21-6-0. Gunny Nelson at 14-1-1.
Both of them are jiu-jitsu specialists. This is going to be the most boring fight on the card. I'm
Oh,
just going to put
man.
that out there now.
I'm gonna
Well, you
close
just
this
said
one.
that jujitsu. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, both of them. Are
I know
like
Maya's
under
boring
2.5
as holy fuck.
Yeah.
Both of them are under 2.5 strikes landed per minute.
Yeah.
Significant strikes landed.
Gunnar Nelson blasted Brandon Thatch in his last fight and took him down and submitted him. Brandon Thatch looks like he has Von Dutch bed sheets and shit. But Gunnar Nelson, he trains with Conor McGregor at a SBG gym in Ireland.
He's boring.
And he's boring.
He's kind of boring. He's just really stoic. He doesn't have a personality, but he's great on the ground. But then again, so is Damian Maya.
He does have better takedown accuracy.
Gunny Nelson?
Yeah, Gunny.
Gunny?
His name's Gunner, like the
I know,
Gunner
Gunner,
weed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but Gunny? Brutal.
Apparently that's his nickname. So who do you
Is
got?
he Irish?
No, he's from Iceland.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if that's how the people in Iceland
What do you think
speak.
of? I know you guys are trying to go through this card, but what do you guys think of Alexander Gustafsson in general? Like, do you think like it's hype? Is he as good? The fuck's up with his running away tactics?
I'm not a big fan.
Do you think like he just like
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. He's just
Did-
always going to be there, but
like
he's just
a
not
Shane
gonna...
Carwin?
No, because Shane Carwin was
Fucking love Shane Carwin.
Shane Carwin was
He was a
he could have been
beast,
champion,
man.
and that fight could have been justifiably stopped with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just called it they
just
called
let it
him the
go.
gatekeeper.
As soon as
They
I
said
found out he
never
had like
reached
5XL gloves, I was in love with the guy.
Shane
Yeah.
Carwin.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just like
But
throwing
didn't Brock
bricks.
Lesnar have?
No, he had bigger hands
they made
than Lesnar.
custom gloves for Brock, but then Shane came and he had
And
bigger
he had bigger hands, man. Like
Yo,
Shane
that when
has
he-
bigger hands than
Yeah, there's a picture.
That
of it
fight
with
against Mir? Oh, man. The best.
who?
When he just uppercutted him against the fence?
Yeah.
Who's this? Shane.
Shane Carwin. Yeah.
He like lifted him up.
yeah, he
with
was just
fucking
like,
uppercuts.
destroyed him.
Yeah.
Why
Alright.
did he quit? He just got old, eh?
I guess.
Yeah, he was
He had a
dude.
lot
He
of back
came into the
problems.
game at like 37. Like he was
Yeah.
like fighting like those big fights. He was
Yeah,
already
that
at
guy
the end of
gets
his career.
fucking honorable mention in legendary status.
Yeah.
I really liked him.
All right.
And then who got his ass kicked by who? Dos Santos after? Oh,
Dos Santos beat his ass.
Why though? Like,
He was just faster.
yeah.
so Carwin in
He
no
just had
days
bricks,
he
man.
went
He
in.
just threw bricks.
in
Yeah.
that
Dos
instance.
Santos was in his prime too. Like
Yeah.
he was on his way to the
That was
belt.
before Kane stole his soul.
Yeah, basically.
Give me your soul. All right,
Oh,
Damian
that's
Maya, Gunnar Nelson. Who you got? Let's go around the circle. Let's go around the circle there.
Damian Maya, I'll say Gunnar Nelson because I knew a guy named Gunnar.
I'll go Maya just because
What,
experience.
what round? How does he win?
Submission. You know what? Yeah. So I'll go.
Submission.
I'll
yeah, fuck
go
all
guillotine.
jiu-jitsu guys. Yeah. okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'll go guillotine in the second. There.
You don't think he's gonna be too sweaty? Gunnar Gunny?
Gunny. He looks like a
He's
sweaty.
got a beard,
individual.
man.
Dude,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but
Gunny.
I'm looking at Shane Carwin's career. He was undefeated before that stupid Brock Lesnar submission,
Yeah.
and
All knockouts.
all
All
stoppages.
Oh yeah, he
All
just knocked guys
knockouts.
up, man. He like he didn't
Gonzaga.
even get
That was
through
the
first
biggest
round.
one.
All they're not all knockouts, but all stop. This guy's fucking unreal, man.
He's like first round
On the
too.
right, Brock on the left.
buddy, like
They were like first round knockouts too, man. Like he
Yeah.
didn't go
He
much
like
more.
starched Gonzaga with like just a short.
oh my
Yeah.
god, all the first round. You're right, every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy. He gets one questionable loss, right?
Yeah, but he also pulled himself out too. He was getting old, man. Like
Yeah.
he came into the game.
He had a lot of back problems.
He's like, man, I want to live a little bit more.
He wasn't Jon
you know?
Jones coming in at 19,
Yeah.
20
That
years
sucks,
old.
man.
right?
He could have.
Yeah.
Could have been in it if he.
But he was
had
like,
come-
what did he do before? He was one of those kind of guys that like had a totally other career. And was
Yeah,
just
he
like,
had a
I'm just gonna
full-time
go
job.
fight.
Yeah, he was like some type of heavy duty mechanic or something like that.
Junior Dos Santos.
I
just
hit
beat
pretty
him
hard. I
up.
should fight.
Like you lose in decision.
That was
and
in
you
Vancouver.
retire?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I was here. Yeah.
So wait, who's got the glove? That's Carwin.
Shane on the right. Yeah,
That's huge. Yeah, that's disappointing.
that's like getting hit with a fucking lunchbox.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
All right, O'Drama, who you got on this Maya
I'm
Nelson?
gonna
Holy.
go with. Oh, shit, this is a tough one. It's going to be a boring fight. I'm going to call that now, but I'll go with Gunnar just because he's doing a lot of fine-tuning with Connor.
Good.
What round?
Gani.
Decision.
Decision. Apparently, he only goes to decision 7% of his fights, which is crazy because Damian Maia is almost at 40%.
I think it's going to come down to boxing. I think their jiu-jitsu is going to cancel out each other's, and it's just going to be a stand-up, kind of boring fight. A lot of against-the-fence work.
So go to the bathroom during that fight.
Yeah.
You're going to go during that one. All right.
Wow. I can't believe how big is it.
All right. Who do we got next? We have Ronaldo. What the hell?
I'm gonna go with Jacare.
Jacare?
Souza.
What does that mean?
This is
I don't know.
nickname or
I think
something.
it's
No.
Crocodile.
Souza.
Crocodile or alligator, one of those monsters.
Oh yeah, something like that. Right?
Yeah, it's 2 and 3rd ranked, eh?
And you're gonna love why I think he's gonna win.
Because what?
Joe Rogan podcast. Every time he mentions him, he's just like, "Oh, Jacare," like just like just like. So I'm like, all right, I trust you.
Yeah.
So he's my authoritative perspective on the thing.
How old's Romero too? He's
38.
He looks way too jacked to be
He's
that.
like,
He's on steroids.
yeah, he's the biggest person I've ever seen in my life. I just hope he wins so he can get on the microphone, because every time he gets on the microphone, it's just pure comedy.
Who, Jacare?
No, Yoel Romero.
What, does he speak English? And it's
Like
just,
Cuban, just like,
you know?
yo, God,
Oh, really?
Okay, let
I
me
love
tell
you,
you.
God.
Jesus.
God, Jesus.
His
Next
KO, TKO percentage is 90%.
Who?
Yoel Romero.
Yoel Romero
He's a
won
beast.
the silver medal in
Zero.
the 2000 Olympics in wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Hey,
Really?
next.
Who's going to win? You pick Jacare?
Yeah, I pick Jacare. I don't know shit. I'm just
22
going off
and
with
3.
I'll
Joe
go
Rogan's-
Romero.
Oh yeah, you just feel like it.
Guess why not?
I'm
See
going to
what
go
happens.
with... I'll take Jacare on this.
And so does the winner
Jacare.
of this fight? Like, I know we're gonna get to the next
Oh,
fight. but
Jacare.
Yeah.
Let me tell.
This is pretty much a number one contender fight.
This is number
Not
one.
how he says it, making him sound whack.
Yeah. Oh, Jacare.
Okay.
All right, next.
All right, we got Luke Rockhold against champion.
I want
Chris,
Weidman.
the All-American
Weidman.
I just want to go on record and say fuck Chris Weidman.
Why? Why do you hate him?
Captain America, I hope ISIS steals your Christmas tree. Things of that nature.
Holy.
Why do you want him to win or lose?
Well, he knocked out Silva.
Yeah, he fucking ruined Silva's career. Fuck him.
Yeah, because he was a better
Dude, that
fighter.
fucking
No,
broken
fuck him.
leg was one of the most like savage.
Dude, when I
That was-
watched
that
that,
was-
I
that
watched
was-
that in Australia with
I was
90%.
at that fight, dude.
Oh my god, yeah, you taught my
90% what?
story. Brazilians. I was in a Brazilian bar. And we like watched it and we like didn't understand how it was over, and then they replayed it and everyone was like, oh, like, dude.
Dog, there was just Brazilians crying like all around me in the stadium. I was just like,
you didn't see
were
what
in Brazil?
happened till the replay, though,
Was that-
right?
yeah, you couldn't really tell. You just like saw him fall, and you could like hear him screaming from the stands, but you didn't know what the fuck
That
happened.
loud, eh?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then
Where
they
was
played
that?
The remake. The
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah,
I was
they played the
playing-
replay. I was like, oh shit.
Do you think he could win in a third round? Well, if he didn't have that injury.
No, his soul is gone.
But okay, say his.
You talking about
soul
Silva?
wasn't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's figured him out.
No one had such a like decline. Like he was at top of the world, like #1 pound for pound best fighter, and then that just fucked him. Like mentally, like you're not the same anymore because he had that air of invincibility. He used to
He
go into
got
fights
knocked
and just
out
like
that first fight.
yeah.
You think Ronda will rebound? Like, you think that invincibility is
I
gone?
don't think she'll win.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's.
She's not as good as
No.
Silva.
Yeah.
As long as Holly's champ, like I don't see her winning. And unless she gets rid of Edmund, like no.
But if she just went straight hard on like the judo, and just really, because like when I didn't watch that whole fight, but even like what I did watch of it, I just watched someone that was just totally like out of their element, you know,
Yeah.
like it was, you know, fish out of water kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Whereas like to me it's like if I had Ronda Rousey, like, I mean, judo, you know, she was what, Olympic champ, silver, gold, bronze,
Yeah.
judo.
You know what? Sorry to interrupt. You know what I don't get about that? You know, this other guy, silver, she's bronze. Who's taking gold and why aren't they fighting? You know, when you hear those
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But anyways, yeah, continue.
No, but it's like, I mean, it's like anything. It's like Brock Lesnar wasn't an Olympic champion. Kurt Angle was a 2-time gold Olympic
Yeah.
champion. He went into WWE after, right?
Yeah.
So Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman.
Angle.
This fight's this is the pick. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck's gonna win this one, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say Luke Rockhold just because I hate Chris Weidman. I hope you stub your toe every morning. things of
That's
that
like the
nature.
meanest thing you can say to someone.
What about
fuck it.
paper cuts?
All of that.
But yeah, go on. Okay, so you want Rockhold to win.
Yeah. They both have really good wrestling. But Luke Rockhold's such a big dude. Chris Weidman lost a lot of weight this fight. He quit drinking, so he's walking around at like 195. He usually
Chris
walks
Weidman
around.
quit drinking?
Yeah. He's usually walking around at like 210, 220.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now
That
he
big?
cut down to before the fight, he's like 195. So,
He doesn't have a huge cut. That's always nice.
yeah. They can't use IVs anymore, too.
Really?
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
that's,
banned them.
that's another big thing.
You didn't know that.
That's
eh?
surprising.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. That changes the game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A lot.
And Luke Rockhold's such a big dude, so. But he's really physically strong. I think,
He beat
But I don't know,
Machida,
like, you
right,
know-
recently?
yeah.
But he also lost to Vitor, Rockhold, and
Rock-
this guy
but that was-
smashed. Well, you know what?
That was TRT Vitor. That was juiced up Vitor.
Yeah. But this guy beat juiced up Vitor too. Why?
No, he was off it.
Was he off it?
Yeah, he was off it at the time.
Man, why
Vitor
can't we
looked-
were even discussing that? He was off the juice. No, was he? Or
Yeah.
shouldn't even be
Kinda
on juice.
bullshit. Eh?
It's-
Like,
that
I
is
don't-
bullshit.
I don't really
yeah.
understand.
What
but
the fuck?
What about Silva's juicing? So I was listening. It's like totally not like what people are trying to make it sound like. From what I heard about Silva and his quote unquote juicing is he took like some weird Viagra.
Yeah, he said he took boner pills.
which happens. And,
It
like,
happens
there's
a
a
lot,
lot of weird
actually.
steroids and like
Yeah.
7-Eleven
I-
Because
shit.
they use some of the same labs
Yeah.
and like shit gets mixed in. So like,
I don't know if I believe him.
I think he used it for
believe- I do.
recovery. I think he used it for recovery.
yeah,
You don't
recovery.
think it was
for his
boner
leg,
juice?
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
for
You
sure.
don't
And
think
I-
it was his story?
No.
But just knowing like how shady the UFC's drug testing policies have been
Oh,
over the last
Overeem?
like 10 years.
Yeah.
There is
Overeem
no
was the
doubt in my
biggest,
mind
man.
that that there are like 85% of fighters are juicing. I wouldn't
Really?
doubt that.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
people don't see
I
why
think
you
you're.
wouldn't.
I totally agree with you.
I don't see why you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the same thing, like baseball player. Hey,
Uh-huh.
you can struggle, grind it out, potentially make the MLB, or take this one shot, and now you're going to be earning $15-20 million a year. Well,
Yeah.
Jack
But
me
they
up,
test you all the time.
But it's not for the UFC.
No.
It's totally different.
But the
It's
UFC
not.
They
They don't
said
test
in
you.
the UFC is basically an intelligence test. Like if you could just like get it out of your system by this time, which what everyone was doing, then you're good. Like
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that GSP said he backed out, right?
Yeah.
He had a huge explosion with Dana White. He like bitched out Dana White, was just saying like this juicing stuff's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to keep fighting while I know these guys.
That's
are
what
juicing.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had
Where
a
did
huge.
you hear that?
He had a huge.
he talks about it all the
Yeah.
time.
They had like he went into his. They
That's
said,
pretty
like,
sweet.
He was a
I didn't
fairly
know
like
that.
level-headed kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
GSP's a very level-headed, and he said like he went into his office and like went off.
Yeah.
Like they were fucking. It was a screaming match, and
This is fucking
GSP
bullshit.
Yeah.
and
so definitely the
GSP was
truth.
all about juicing, right? Because he's just like this is unfair that I'm
The
not
juice?
actually trying to get clean. Right? But like, wouldn't you? Would you not like?
Yo, no,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Like, I'm not
100%.
I wouldn't because I have no reason to do steroids. But if someone's gonna say like, hey Matt, you're gonna earn 400
And you're already
times
and
your
you're already a
salary.
fighter.
Yeah, you're
you
gonna
know?
earn 400
Yeah.
times your salary.
Why
if you
not?
You're
start
fighting
juicing.
this juiced out guy in the
You think
corner.
Jon
Sign me up.
Jones
Here,
is on
take
juice?
this because it's a little.
Why not?
Because he's young enough in order to have natural testosterone
I just don't know
levels.
how
He's just
people like
beast.
know.
And like his physique too is built
Yeah.
like
Well, okay, so in
That
that
reach.
1 hour Jon Jones interview, they say, "Oh, what do you think about Vitor juicing?" Right?
Oh, yeah,
and
he
he's
wanted to
like,
answer that, yeah.
he's choked. He's like, "Well, what do you do?" They willingly risked my life. And
Yeah.
he's choked. And then I'm thinking, why
Because
the
Vitor
fuck?
fucked up his arm in that fight too.
Yeah,
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 he
yeah.
did.
And I
Yeah.
agree. But why the fuck would you go back to UFC? Like, fuck the UFC. If they're that bad, I don't
you're
know.
making
if it's true.
money.
But think
They're
about
paying
this.
you,
Think
man.
about this. Think about this. Jon Jones, if he's creative enough, can he not? And I'm just putting this out there because I don't fucking know, right?
Yeah.
What if he fucking got a team together and started like this random competition where people fight him and he just beats everyone and just makes it like this like entertainment show? But like, I'd fucking watch that. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't
You know
make
how much
nearly as
money that
No.
would take just to produce, man? You need so much.
Well, I
money
don't
to
know.
be able to,
What-
like, start something
why?
like that. Because you got to
TV
create
show.
like an entire broadcasting
Like,
fucking
honestly.
network.
What? Do it with Netflix. Fuck,
He's just filming on his iPhone, just like him and his gym. Just sets
come
up
on,
his
come on.
iPhone and starts
you
a
could,
YouTube
you
channel.
could
or
make
what?
that. How much could you produce that video for?
Who wants to beat Jon Jones? Just like people lining up.
I think he should do that.
You'd line up against him. You'd go in.
Oh, yeah, right. No, I'd watch
Next.
that. Think Netflix. But like, why not? Like, just think out of the box for a
Would be
second.
auditions.
That'd be the worst.
Why?
That's
I
like-
just
that's
don't
like-
understand why that's impossible.
Who's gonna fight?
Anybody? You know how many people would want to just fight?
It's like,
drunk
that's like
guy at the bar,
LeBron
just
James
like-
leaving the NBA in order to start a one-on-one league where you can try to take LeBron James on one-on-one.
Yeah.
I think we're in 2015. You could fucking be creative and start something, and that's just an example. Like he could do it. He doesn't need to go to UFC, is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
but
say.
what is he gonna go to Bellator?
They do though.
Yeah.
They're not gonna pay him nearly as
No,
much.
not even close.
UFC's
Okay.
monopolized,
Listen,
man.
maybe that's like an out there idea, but what I'm trying to say is he's a celebrity and he could make money off his celebrity in other ways.
Yeah, but what got him into the celebrity world?
But he's already there.
Yeah, but he's still at his prime. He still wants to beat the best. He wants to go up into heavyweight and fuck around with heavyweights. So
I just don't understand why you'd go back to UFC if they're that shady. I'm not saying they are because I don't
Money.
know.
Money, man. It's all about the money. It's like
Yeah.
if I'm same thing. If I'm an NBA player, like I can go to China and like be the shit, and everyone's gonna love
Yeah.
me, and I'm gonna school everyone, and I'm gonna win every championship. But at the end of the day, you want to play in the NBA. You want to play where the best of the
You
best
wouldn't
are
watch
as an
who-
athlete. As
you
a
wouldn't want to
competitor.
watch Who Wants to Beat Jon Jones? You'd all watch it.
I'd probably watch
You'd
that.
all watch it. Think about it. He could rack up like 100 fights.
You're basically going back to like UFC 1, where there's like guys fighting
Just
with
like-
one boxing glove.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Oh my
fucking
God.
fighter that fought with one
I know.
boxing glove.
I
season
saw
finale, he's
that.
gonna fight like 3 people at once and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd watch that.
Yeah, produced by Kimbo Slice. Or
yeah.
At the end of the day, all I'm saying is if you hate a company so much, I can't imagine going back to them. That's crazy to me. If you're willing, like he thinks they risked his life. That's what he said, right?
He's just like, well, like yeah, but like you weren't really gonna die, but
No, but it's
he could have got fucked. He could have fucked up his career because like Vitor hyperextended his arm.
I just
that was some
wouldn't.
real
I don't.
shit.
I don't see the logic.
Yeah, imagine
in
he
it.
broke it. Like, what would it?
Yeah, like he could
different fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, and he wanted
all
to
about
start.
the money, and as a competitor, you want to be competing against the best in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do.
Yeah.
As any kind of athlete, as any kind of competitor,
Yeah, you wanna
play
prove
against.
that you're the best.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You're not gonna.
Yeah.
But he already has.
Not necessarily because he still wants to go up to. He hasn't fought Rumble yet.
He's the best right
He wants
now.
to get
but
his
he's not
back
the
belt from
greatest.
DC
Yeah,
and just
he's
embarrass him
gonna
again.
fight. He's gonna fight Rumble. I don't want him to. I love Rumble.
He wants to fight Chris Weidman. Like he wants to fight the best.
He wants to fight Weidman too.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
Like,
and Weidman wants to fight him too. They want to do it in New York.
What weight class?
Are they both from New York? Hey.
12-5.
Wow.
I hope freaking Jones
'cause
just
he is
smashes
12.
him. I think he would though. I don't think Weidman would beat him.
No.
I don't want either. I hate undefeated people.
I'd like to
losing.
see him in heavyweight though. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think he could do
Who's
it.
in heavyweight though, man? Like that's just
Verdum,
keeps getting passed around that
Velasquez.
belt.
Him and Verdum would be the
Dos
fight.
Santos.
Is Tim Sylvia still fighting?
Yeah.
He's
We
probably
met
still
Verdum,
fighting people
right?
in bars.
O-Drama?
Yeah, we met him at
Yeah.
that whatever the fuck that event was
The
called down
Vancouver fucking
Tim
Seeing
Sylvia?
Red. The head
here. No,
kick show.
Verdum.
Seeing red, I was not too. I was
Was that the one with?
Yeah,
the-
you came
yeah,
yeah,
that was
or
there.
both of them.
Dio
Verdum.
Barro.
With the dragon?
Yeah, the dragon.
That guy kicked the shit out of him. That was like the first time like watching a fight where I was like, "What am I doing here?" It's just like this should be illegal, man. Like
Yeah.
that one chubby kid that was just taking knees to the gut.
Yeah.
Against that, not against the dragon. He fought the other kickboxer.
Oh, and how about the dragon who
Spanish
he
guy.
fought?
You saw the dragon one?
Yeah, well,
You
no,
saw
the
the
first
dragon.
dragon
Yeah.
fight where he fought like this like old guy who was like, you know, like he's like
yeah.
he did
Because
Muay
that
Thai,
first time
like,
I brought
30
you,
years
and then I
ago.
brought you.
Yeah, I watched the
right?
one where he was trying to go Super Saiyan, then he got washed in the fucking fight after.
Fuck, man.
All right, last but not least, Jose Aldo against Connor,
Please.
the
Wait,
hold on.
notorious.
Do we get picks
I think
for
I think we should like
Do we get picks for
Oh, do we
Weidman?
get picks for Weidman Rockhold?
Weidman Rockhold?
Oh.
I chose Weidman.
You said Weidman?
Yeah.
I'll go Weidman.
I'm gonna go.
I want
Rockholds.
to talk. I want to talk about this fight. That's fine. I think we should talk
You're
about.
going Rock.
Yeah.
You think Rockhold's gonna win, or you just
I'm
want him
not
to?
Yeah.
surprised. I've heard that
Rockhold's
already.
super good, man. And like, if you look at his last couple fights, how he just walked through Machida and finished him. Like,
He submitted him, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
But Cheetah needs to retire.
he does.
I'm over Machida.
Yeah.
That just sucks, man.
Like
it-
when
it's-
Machida
that
first
karate
got into
shit.
it, he was so hard to figure out, but then everyone just like figured out his style and learned
What's
how to
his
cut him
style?
off from the cage because he was just very elusive and he used to just circle out. But now everyone just learned how to cut off the cage on him, and he was just fucked after that.
Yeah.
Really?
And Jon Jones just choked him to death.
Oh my god, that's
You remember that he just
picture?
Just
choked him and dropped him like
That's never happened. A standing.
standing guillotine like that. And
Was
just,
that a standing guillotine?
Yeah,
It was like hard to see that.
Wasn't
I
it
was
a
like,
rear
oh.
naked?
no, it's standing guillotine.
No one like people are like we've never seen that before. And he just
It
dropped.
was like a weird style too. Like he had
Yeah,
his
he just,
other
like,
arm and he
had
was
it up.
pushing his arm this way.
It was like an arm in standing guillotine, and he
Yeah.
just let it go and just dropped him. He just face planted.
But if I was Jon Jones, I'd stop doing media shit. I just take on this like demon persona.
Team.
That's like when Rumble knocked out Alex Gustafsson.
Yeah.
I just thought like, cause he's like, if you see the pictures, he's like eyes wide open.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, right? Like, and obviously you'd be like that. But imagine he knocked him out and then just walked away. Turned around out. Like,
Yeah.
how sick would that be? Like,
Mark
how much
Hunt
would
style.
you?
Yeah.
Is that what Mark Hunt does?
Yeah.
Oh wait, he just did that with
He's a
Bigfoot,
king.
right?
He's a king of the one punch knock away or walk away fights. He just
Yeah,
drops him and
shows
just
how much
walk
I know.
off.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, Mark Hunt's a beast.
Yeah.
That what's a good fight is Overeem Dos Santos. I think Overeem's
Yeah.
gonna get smashed though.
Yeah, he will.
I
His
think he's
chin's
going- yeah.
trash.
Have they
It's
never
trash.
fought?
No, they never fought.
Over?
They've been wanting
That's
this fight for like years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Overeem. It's
so
a
Conor-
shame. I liked him.
Connor?
Main event.
Main event.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Connor.
You really do have like the two sides of the spectrum on this fight too, just in the sense of personality wise, right?
Yeah.
Just I'm sick of Jose Aldo. He doesn't even fight. He's always injured.
Yeah. He hasn't fought in like a year and a half.
Man, but when he does,
He's a
he
savage.
smashes,
Really?
man.
He's a
Oh,
See, I've never
Savage.
seen a Aldo
He's got those
fight.
beastly leg kicks too,
Yeah.
man. He just
So
do
why-
yourself a favor. Go home, watch the highlight reel of.
Why?
Aldo,
Well, we'll watch
honestly.
it here. Why is
Yeah, we
he
will. Actually,
sick
yes.
and Mighty Mouse isn't?
Because he finishes fighters, man.
Yeah, he finishes fighters, and it's just he's just more dynamic in his styles. Like he has some of the fastest leg kicks outside of
Oh my
Edson
God,
That-
leg
that's
kicks are
that's
brutal, man.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like I don't think anybody's figured out his leg kicks. Like he's
Why they
There
just
was-
they hurt?
they
So
What was
hurt-
that
I-
one
there-
fight?
nobody
He had one
just can
fight where he
defend it.
just destroyed. Who was that?
Uriah Faber.
Was it Uriah? It was Uriah
They had to
Faber.
carry Uriah Faber from like where he was
Why?
to his because he couldn't walk, man.
chops
legs.
down his legs.
Oh, after the fight was over?
No, like in the fourth
during
round,
the
going into
fight.
the fifth, his
So it
coach
was
came
over,
on
wasn't
and
it?
grabbed him and picked him up to
No, it was like when the round ended. But
The round ended.
Couldn't even stand, man.
because like don't let him walk anymore. Like,
Oh, the fight was over at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
I just
because
don't
we
know
were-
what McGregor's gonna do about that leg.
Well,
kick.
if you look at one of McGregor's first fights, he actually checked a guy's leg kick and broke it. Like he has done that before.
Yeah.
What McGregor did pull the Chris Weidman?
Yeah. We don't
The
talk
sa-
about that though.
the same
We don't-
way?
We don't talk about that.
The guy's leg snapped in the same place.
Yeah.
That was with McGregor.
McGregor did that
however,
before too, yeah.
however,
What?
Aldo is known to gas.
Yeah.
man. He is known to
And
gas.
Connor doesn't gas.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like Aldo, I think
sick.
honestly, if Aldo beats him, he has to do it in the first three or maybe decision.
Yeah.
But like
and he's going to have to walk down McGregor, which
yeah.
isn't going to happen.
It's
Like,
not gonna happen.
It's going to come down to pressure in this fight, and it's going to come down to like who can impose their will first. Aldo, really, all he has is a counter right and his leg kicks. That's really going to take it. He might have to use his jiu-jitsu in this fight too and take Connor down.
So what?
We'll see though. Honestly.
Tell me about
Yeah.
Connor in your expert opinion.
He's pretty explosive in this
Why
first
is he so
round.
sick?
Because he's a master of move. Connor, like, I don't know if you've been seeing his fucking training videos for like this fight. He's doing all this like strange like movement training. Like this motherfucker's like playing hopscotch over HIV needles and playing tetherball with beehives and random shit. Like, like this thing is like,
It's like Saw 7 or something.
yeah, like
Yeah.
he's just doing all this like movement training and like because Jose Aldo's such a traditional Muay Thai, just plod forward and bang with the same combos always. And Conor McGregor is just so elusive and he's just so into
What's
like,
that McGregor fight where his leg broke?
It's one of his first fights. It might be his second or third fight where he
Just
broke a guy's leg.
punches, knee bar. It doesn't say it here. Anyways,
Broken shin.
yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Conor McGregor. You see this weigh-in fight, or this weigh-in pick, stare down? Sorry, oh, it's not the weigh-ins yet. It's just a pre-fight
From the press conference. Yeah.
He's like in karate stance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So you think McGregor can win, but he won't.
It's a
No, I
tough
think he
match,
can.
man.
I think he can. It's just I know Aldo's strengths, but Connor's left straight is just ends people. Just puts people to sleep all the
He's
fucking
just
time.
got. He's just strong, eh?
Yeah, he's got a
That's the
strong
thing.
fist.
Aldo's gonna have to circle away from that, but then again, McGregor has that left kick too.
Fuck, I'm so excited.
He's gonna have to try to go to the right, but then Connor has that circling, spinning
so
back kick from the right. It's just there's so many variables and so many different like unorthodox kicks and shit with Connor's game. That front snap kick to the stomach that he kept hitting Mendez with.
Do you think? I think it's fair to say that this is Conor McGregor's hardest fight, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Easily,
For sure.
and it's not going to be easy. This
not gonna
this
be
guy's
easy,
what
man.
10 years he hasn't lost.
Yeah.
9 title defenses.
Yeah.
This guy's not a joke.
And he's
man.
fought some motherfuckers.
And he's beaten the best. Like
Yeah.
he's literally cleaning out his division.
Who, Aldo?
Aldo, yeah. He's what's next. He's what's left.
Yeah.
McGregor, literally.
And the thing is, Aldo's a type that fights at occasion. Like, there's been a few fights where Aldo will kind of coast, but once you really bring it to him, then he'll rise to that occasion and be like, all right, you want to go there? Then we'll go there. Like in the last fight with Chad Mendez, like, Mendez knocked him down and Aldo just snapped. He's like, all right, fuck, we're going to do this. Let's do this.
Even Edgar, when Edgar slammed him,
Yeah.
what did he do? That Superman punch off the fence?
Yeah, he
like
fucking-
all of a sudden, like he just turns it up, and it's the 5th round, right?
Yeah.
So he's exciting.
Yeah. So
Oh,
once you bring it to him,
Aldo's the one guy who's the double knee knockout. You ever see that?
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like some
on
Captain
Cub Swanson.
Cub Swanson, yeah.
Yeah.
WEC
See-
days.
Here's the thing about Aldo and the type of fan I am, because I don't know shit, obviously.
Yeah.
I want
It's-
fucking
what-
Jon Jones to do a reality show. The reason I don't know about him is because his personality's boring.
Well, that's just like what you were saying. Right?
No,
He's
and you were,
he's
but
from
that's-
Brazil,
it's the
right?
truth,
Like,
but
it's
that's-
hard to really.
But it's crazy how real that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I literally don't give a fuck because, he doesn't talk. He's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I hear
before
you.
this fight, like when the fight was originally supposed to happen the first time,
Yeah.
I had Aldo winning.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, McGregor winning a lot more just because they went through the whole world tour. Like Conor was in his face fucking with him, stealing his belt, all that shit. He was in his head so much more. This fight, they didn't really have to do all that press. So Aldo had more time to himself to just chill and really focus. Like before that, Conor was in his face every second day. Like
He's
constantly
talking about
fucking with him.
murdering him, though. Obviously, it's in Portuguese, but
Yeah.
he's talking about murdering.
That shit
this
gets
guy.
that shit does get in your head. Like
Yeah.
you can't, like, even GSP, like Nick Diaz or whoever he fought,
Yeah.
Nate or Nick,
Nick.
he couldn't get that out of his head. Like
Yeah.
he says,
that fucked with him, like,
Yeah.
to no end. Like, that just pissed him off.
Well,
And
it's
that's-
like Chael Sonnen with Silva, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
yeah, just takes you out of your element.
Yeah.
yo, is Silva and Nick Diaz's fight a no contest? So stupid.
Silva was he was so much better than him that
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Well, that was the most bizarre fight. Like, I watched that fight with someone who doesn't watch fights. He's like, oh, I just don't really, what's the point? I'm like, okay, well, watch this fight, right? And it was just the worst example. Like,
Yeah.
Nick Diaz laying down.
That shit
and,
was
like,
funny as fuck to me.
Really?
That shit was so funny.
I
But
guess-
like, it's not supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be exciting.
Silva looked good, though.
He was a shadow of himself. Like, he
Yeah.
wasn't like.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you've seen some of his performances where he's just like.
No, yeah, he didn't do anything, but, like, his movements and stuff, like, he looked energetic. Like,
Yeah, but you could tell he had to get over that mental hump of breaking his leg.
I just hate that. Like, how some fighters lose and then just never come back. Like, they're the best, then
Yeah.
they lose and they don't come back, and you just say it's over. Like, that doesn't really make sense.
That's
to
the
me,
thing,
you
when
know?
you're so high up, like
Yeah.
when you finally lose, that fall is just so much
That's
more
crazy, yeah.
devastating.
Like Shane Carwin leaving, but I know he was old, but still.
So who do you guys think has the Vegas odds? Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor is.
Got him pulled up here, but just
Yeah.
out of curiosity,
Oh wait,
who do you think would
who's-
have the odds?
Who has the odds in
to
their
win?
favor?
Yeah.
Aldo is a dog right now, but money's starting to come in on Aldo. So
Yeah.
Fuck,
man.
I'd say Aldo. It's got to be, man.
No, odds are on McGregor
yeah,
for the fight.
They think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's definitely
Aldo's a dog.
Can you check how long this is? I think we're hitting 3
Man,
hours. soon.
I honestly want Aldo to win this fight, but
close.
Can you check?
I want Conor to win. I think it's better for the UFC.
it is better for the
and
UFC.
that weight class.
But he's such a. I don't know. He doesn't deserve to lose, man. He's been so good.
I know.
He's been so
know.
good.
So who do you guys got?
Who's been good?
Aldo, he's just been smashing everybody.
So who do you got?
Fuck it, I'm gonna go with Conor. Luck of the Irish.
How sick would that be? Yeah. And then I just want to see Connor keep. I don't want Connor to go away. I want him to keep.
You know, it'd be great too
winning.
because if this is potentially could be one of the best fights this year,
Yeah.
and then if it turns out to be this good and Connor wins, there could be a second fight, maybe
Yeah.
the third fight. You know, that'd be exciting to see that.
Conor wants to move up though, because it's a hard weight.
Yeah,
cut for
he
him.
wants to go up to lightweight.
Yeah.
Did
he
you
was talking
see
about.
like
Oh,
the
that division's
Mendes
weak,
fight
too.
with Connor? Like it was like a rock concert, like those weigh-ins
Yeah.
and
yeah.
stuff. Like the fandom he brings.
I think Connor's nervous, man.
Really?
He seems nervous for this fight.
No.
On Kimmel, he seemed a little bit nervous.
He seems nervous
To
when
be
they were
on
talking
Kimmel.
about it. Oh no, it's big, man.
What did he
He's
say?
finally he just looked out of his element, man.
Yeah.
I didn't see any confidence. The confidence that I usually see in Connor, I just did not see it that day. I was
Yeah.
like, and it was all about the fight. He's, like I'm just happy to be here, and I'm like, what? You're talking about like killing this guy a second ago. Now you're just nervous. Like, what's going on?
I just
here?
think because he's a normal person that puts on a show. That's what.
No,
I
but
think
he's
it is.
usually on. Like,
No.
always,
Oh yeah, you
always
should have
on.
saw him on Conan.
But I watched
It was
this
hilarious.
Oh, he was on.
He was on Conan
Conan.
like before when he canceled out on this fight, but now that it's actually happening, it's and like you said, there isn't that much press
Press and
going
all that
on.
shit, yeah.
You know, Aldo's a little bit more focused, and so is he. There isn't like the huge commercial they did over Jay-Z's song or whatever.
Yeah.
it's now
What was
just
Jay-Z's
it's
song?
more just focused on this fight now. Let's make it happen.
What Jay-Z song? What do you
Church
call
in the
it?
Wild.
Church in the Wild? That commercial was ridiculous.
Yeah, they spent like $1 million on it.
yeah,
Where they're
it's like
walking in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
How is that $1 million?
Because you have to think about all the places they have to shut down and shit like that, like special effects,
Get
everything.
permits.
I don't really remember it. I
gives
just
a
know they're
shit.
walking.
Honestly, that was ridiculous.
Church in the Wild. Well, I'm very excited, and we'll see what happens. Should we wrap this up? It's been almost 3 hours.
Has it been 3 hours?
No one's fucking
Flew
listening
by,
anymore.
flies by, doesn't it? That happens every Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah.
He says that. The guest says, "Oh, really 3 hours?" And he says, "Flies by, doesn't it?" Yeah, it has.
Yeah, we can cut things down if we need to.
Sweet.
No, unedited. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Hopefully that was fun for you. And O'Drama is a man.
I'll be back talking shit the next time.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah, you should come back. I don't see you any other way, so.
Yeah.